Class 5A has learned to fear the Dragon. The defending state champion Southlake Carroll Dragons have not tasted defeat since moving up to Class 5A. Head coach Todd Dodge's spread offense is lighting up opponents to the tune of 40 points a game in the playoffs. Meanwhile, the Katy Tigers are used to the glare of the Texas Bowl. For the 5th time in 10 years, the Tigers have reached the pinnacle of Texas high school football. The aerial assault of Southlake Carroll versus the ground attack of Katy. It's next on Fox Sports Net. Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Fox Sports Net Southwest and the University Interscholastic League are proud to present the 5A Division II Texas Bowl State Championship. The fans have made their way from Katy, about a 3-hour drive. Meanwhile, the Dragon faithful have made the 4-hour trip to watch the defending state champions. It is the 14-1 Katy Tigers. They lost week 1, haven't lost since, and the undefeated Dragons from Southlake Carroll. Everybody, Randy McElvoy, glad to have you with us today as we crown the 5A Division II state champion. As always, we're joined by Shay Walker here in the booth. Dave Knobler on the field. We'll check in with Dave in just a moment. Shay, I guess when you start workouts in the month of August, you want to play around Christmas time. These two have made it.
Well, absolutely, and these are two heavyweights, Randy. These guys are big-time programs in Southlake Carroll. Phenomenal job coming into 5A. Haven't lost a game yet in 5A, playing for their 2nd consecutive title, and certainly you can make a case for Katy being the team of the 90s with all the state championships and the playoff runs that they've had. So should be a great ball game today.
Let's talk about the road to the Texas Bowl for the Katy Tigers and how they got here. Of course, 5 wins to reach today. It started with Willow Ridge in Washington. Close calls, though, with Port Arthur Memorial and Nimitz, and they've reached the championship round by beating Church Clemens a week ago, 36-12. Shay, when you talk about Katy specifically on that offensive side, it's their running back, James Aston.
Well, James Aston has had a phenomenal year, Randy, close to having 2,000 yards, and in fact will break the 2,000-yard barrier in today's ball game. He runs behind a big, aggressive, physical offensive line, and they really like to try to dominate and control the football. All right, Southlake Carroll, of course, the defending state champion, 16-0 a year ago, 15-0 coming here today. Here's their road to the Texas Bowl State Championship round. MacArthur and Arlington, their first 2 wins, struggled against Lubbock, Monterey, and Irving. They advanced with a win over Allen a week ago, 37-21. And Shay, when you talk about Southlake Carroll, it's offense, offense, and more offense. Absolutely, and the guy that's pulling the trigger man right now, Chase Daniel. He was a wide receiver last year, but too good of an athlete. Talking to Coach Todd Dodge, he said, we had to have the guy on the field, so we put him at receiver. This year, they've got him at quarterback. He was just named the Texas 5A Offensive Player of the Year, and Aaron Luna, big-time running back. He's only a junior, but let me tell you what, if you give him some space, he will absolutely gas you.
It's a 1-2 punch that has been tough to stop for opponents. State champions will be crowned across the state of Texas throughout today, but everybody follows Texas high school football, mourning the loss of a coaching legend earlier this week, the great Gordon Wood. For more on that, let's take you downstairs, and the 3rd member of our crew, Dave Knobler. Dave has more.
That's right, Randy. It's hard to imagine anything upstaging a battle like this with the star power of these two teams, but Coach Wood's passing certainly is on the minds of everybody. Of course, he'll be remembered for the 396 victories and the 9 state championships, 7 at Brownwood and 2 at Stanford. But more important, he'll be remembered for the way he touched the lives of his players, coaches, and communities across the state of Texas. So as we watch the stars on the field today, we also remember the passing of a true Lone Star legend.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. The 5A Division I Texas Bowl, Division II Texas Bowl on Fox Sports Net, brought to you by State Farm and your local State Farm agent. By Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen, that's what I like about Texas. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. And by Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by the University Interscholastic League. The fans have arrived for the 5A Division II State Championship on both sides. Southlake Carroll Dragons looking to make it back-to-back undefeated seasons. Back-to-back state championships. Katy Tiger faithful in full force here in the Alamo Dome today as they are back in a state championship game for the first time, Jay Walker, since 2000. Southlake Carroll head coach Todd Dodge in his 4th year as head coach of the Dragons. Only 10 losses in his helm, leading the Dragons. Of course, offense has been the name of the game, but their defense very underrated as well. Of course, Mike Johnston, the legend, 22nd year as head coach of the Katy Tigers. He took over the reins of the Tiger program back in 1980. Pretty calm, cool, collected. He's been here before, so has Todd Dodge.
Well, it certainly has, and telling you, Randy, the electricity in this stadium right now is just phenomenal. There's a lot of passion, a lot of energy right now, and we are underway.
Katy kicking off. That'll be Aaron Luna fielding it at the 1. Takes it out to the 19. Brought down there by the Katy Tigers. Southlake Carroll will start things off at the 19-yard line. Katy Tigers, the home team today. Visitors in the white jersey, Southlake Carroll. Take a look at the Verizon starting lineup first for the Southlake Carroll Dragons on offense. Led by Chase Daniel, the 5A Player of the Year. 3,496 yards. There's the line of Ulatowski, Emright, Jones, Allen, and Stacy. Running back Aaron Luna, keep an eye on him. He'll get plenty of touches for the Dragons today. Aaron Luna with the first call. Picked up a few for Southlake. They're going to work it a little bit, Shay, aren't they?
Well, what they do with Aaron Luna is they like to see if they can get 5 or 6 guys in the box. If you can do that with the spread offense, then Chase Daniel is going to make the play call or the decision to give the ball to Luna. If you're not, then they're going to go out and try to find one of their speedy wide receivers to get the football there. So really, it all hinges on the decision of Chase Daniel.
2nd and 6 for Southlake after pickup of 4 from Luna. Daniel looking, dumps it off to Aaron Luna out of the backfield. Tackle made by number 50, Jordan Tanner. Outside linebacker for the Katy Tigers. Starting lineups now on defense for the Katy Tigers. Defensive end Thornton. The tackle is Smith, and then Robert Lewis, the nose tackle. Linebackers Friedrichsen and Trish for Katy. Chase Daniel on the keeper.
They came out, Randy, on that play, and Chase Daniel went with a quick snap. They needed only about a yard to get the first down. Chase Daniel gets the guys up on the line of scrimmage, made the call before the Katy defense was set, and he picks up that first down.
Of course, no huddle offense. That's the name of the game for Southlake. Daniel again looking. Trying to find Kitten Gedwin, and he's wide open. And just like that, the Carroll Dragons strike first in the 5A Division II state championship.
Well, you talk about the play to Gedwin, outstanding. Chase Daniel, you see him there, threw a perfect pass on the 9 route, just a beautiful ball. But what about the time? The time that he had to let that route develop. The guys up front did a great job of blocking. Take a look here. He's back. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. Lets it go. Just a perfect throw and catch right there. Nice job of Gedwin running under that football and bringing it to the house for the first score in this ball game.
Point after by Garrett Hartley is good. And it's 7-0 Southlake Carroll. We're early in San Antonio. Monitors, I'm going to as soon as you see it, point. Okay. 7-0 Carroll early in the first quarter after the quick strike from Chase Daniel to Kitten Gedwin. Take a look at the Dodge scoring drive for the Dragons. 4 plays, 81 yards. Didn't take very long, Jay. 4:23 off the clock.
Hey, it's like voting in Chicago early and often. Carroll Dragons very accustomed to putting the ball in the end zone and typically don't take a lot of time.
Well, Mike Johnston, I was talking to him during their walkthrough yesterday, and that play we just saw for the touchdown when Chase went for his receiver, Kitten Gedwin, he went after the sophomore quarterback, Will Thompson, number 20, a guy who kind of broke into the starting lineup for the Katy Tigers back in week 3. They really love Will Thompson, but Johnston said a lot of teams have been picking on him, or, as you mentioned, stayed away from Ryan Mouton on the other side.
Yeah, hard to say if they're either picking on Will Thompson or staying away from Ryan Mouton, because I was talking to Coach Dodge before this ball game, and he said Ryan Mouton is as good a cover corner as he's seen all year.
Garrett Hartley set to kick it off for Southlake Carroll. In 10:37 left in this first quarter. Did not take long at all. Deep into the end zone. They're going to try to bring it back. And Katy Tigers, they'll go very far, folks. Good special teams effort from Southlake Carroll right there. Chris Sparks on the tackle for Southlake Carroll. Katy will set up shop on offense. Take a look at the Verizon starting lineup for the Katy Tigers. Of course, there's your quarterback, Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson, 1,300 and change, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions so far this season. The line led by Comito and Ravenberg and Freeman and Longacre. Running back James Aston. James Aston, nearly 2,000 yards on the season. 1st and 10, Katy from the 9-yard line. It'll be Thompson, the fullback, with the first carry for Katy. Brian Thompson, he'll get a few picks, he'll get a few carries, but the main man in that backfield is James Aston. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Verizon starting lineups on defense for Southlake Carroll. Adam Boyston split in, the linebackers. Hickson, the middle linebacker, he's committed to Baylor. He's a first-team All-Stater, and you see the secondary there from Southlake Carroll. 2nd and 7 now for the Katy Tigers. Pitch out. That is Aston, left side. Bo Galbraith, the stop there for the Southlake Carroll Dragons. First carry of the afternoon for James Aston. Bo Galbraith, 104 tackles on the season coming into today. He's only a junior.
Only a junior, not bad for your starting strong safety to have 104 tackles. Very active, very athletic, and when he gets there, he knows how to knock you down.
All right, 3rd and 4 now for Katy. Ball's on the 15-yard line. Looking for an answer after that first strike from Southlake Carroll. Johnson in the pocket, dumps it out to Brian Thompson in the flat, crosses the 20 to the 22-yard line. And that'll be good enough for a first down. 1st and 10 now for Katy at the 22. Brian Thompson with some early activity for this offense.
Brian Thompson lined up in the fullback position, and this is Katy's bread and butter play on 3rd and about 3 or so. They try to get him out in the flat. He's got very good hands. Ben Johnson did a nice job of putting the ball where he can catch it and pick up that first down.
Important to establish that passing game. Ben Johnson doesn't throw it a lot. They rely on that running game, but you need to be able to spread it around, and they've got the talent to get that done. That is James Aston straight up the middle. Pickup of about 3. Pete Phelps with the stop for Southlake Carroll.
Tough sledding in that real estate, trying to get in the middle of this Carroll defense. Anchored there by Adam Boydston. He was a backup defensive end last year on the state championship team, now getting his chance to play.
First quarter is always important to state championship.
Oh, you betcha. Momentum.
Got to calm down the nerves, too. 2nd and 7 now for Katy. Ball at the 25-yard line. James Aston trying to get around, turns the corner, crosses the 50 inside Dragon territory, knocked out at the 46-yard line. It's Bo Galbraith again with the stop. We do have a flag down, though, in the backfield. Take a look at it again, Shay.
But one of those interior calls looks like it'll probably be holding against Katy, but nice job of James Aston popping out and making the corner. Doing a good job of that offensive line, giving him some. Strong physical guy. Said his bench is about 375 pounds, squats 525, and
big fella.
I don't even know if I can spell those numbers.
No,
let's squat him or bench him.
I'm not even close. Our officiating crew today from the Waco chapter: referee Tom Stewart, umpire Miles Adamson, linesman Don Wenzel, line judge Jerry Goolsby, back judge Larry Weeks for the 5A Division II state championship. 2nd and 17 now. Back on the 15-yard line. Ben Johnson rolling out. Lets it fly. Looking well short.
Oh, my goodness. You're getting a big boo from the Katy crowd there. The referee said that was not a catchable ball, and
Trevor Johnson with the defense on that one, but the ball was underthrown at that point a little bit.
It was underthrown, but the fact of the matter is you can't say that was not catchable, because if the ball's underthrown and it's up that high, you've always got a chance to come back. Now, Ben Johnson takes a pretty big shot here and a little slow to get up, and looks like that came from Todd Bondi. Now, he was a starter on last year's team, 6'1", 205-pound senior.
Looking for Chris Pedlar on that play. Couldn't make it. Let's hope Ben Johnson can stay in there. Now, don't be surprised if you see the backup Garrett Gayhart come in as well. Mike Johnson says maybe second or third series he wouldn't mind rotating. He's done a little bit of that throughout the season. So, second and 12 down to 20. Johnson up to Wade. Actually, that'd be Ryan Mouton with the grab for Katy.
Ryan Mouton doing a great job, Randy, of going up and getting that ball. That was one where you have to get in the elevator to go get. That was high, and he showed some good leaping ability. Went up and got it. Now,
another flag down.
Yeah, but let's talk about this. This is going to be a personal foul against Southlake Carroll, because when Mouton, trying to keep his balance, actually went out of bounds, one of the defenders came from behind from Southlake and gave him a little bit of a shove in the back.
That was Trevor Johnson.
It's going to be a 15-yarder now. Talk about it, though. They had second down and 27. Southlake jumped off sides on defense. They got the defensive call. They didn't get the pass interference call. But now, where they had Katy backed up, Katy is now on the drive, and they're getting the scrimmage clear right at the 45-yard line. That's a big change in field position right now.
All right, first and 10 now for the Tigers. Still their own 45-yard line. Pedlar in motion for Katy. Johnson hands to James Aston, straight up the middle. Pete Phelps with the stop for Southlake Carroll.
Well, Randy, we talk about it. You were just saying how important the first quarter is, get a little bit of the jitters out, and talking about momentum. Here you are, if you're Katy's offense, you're in the shadow of your own goalpost. You're second and 27. And all of a sudden now, you're scrimmaging now, you've got a second down and about 4 yards, and you're at the midfield stripe, and that's because of a couple of penalties by Southlake Carroll not really performing like they should, putting Katy in great field position.
Second and 4 for the Tigers. Aston making it inside the 50. That's the fullback, Brian Thompson. Very little, but he does pick up a couple.
Well, he's going to give him a first down and talk
about 45.
That.
They gave him the mark at the 45.
Yeah, but that nice little second effort and spinning as after he got hit. Brian Thompson doing a nice job of spinning in the hole. Picked up that first down, and now you're starting to see a little bit of momentum build.
He kind of ran into Ben Hickson there, the middle linebacker for the Dragons, and carried him with him for a couple of yards. Another first down for Katy. 6:50 counting here in the first quarter at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, the 5A Division II state championship. James Aston again, big hole. Another 4 yards for the Katy Tigers tailback. Pete Phelps again in there on the stop for Southlake Carroll.
Well, this is where Katy is very comfortable, Randy. They get the big offensive line, and they are big up front. 220, 250, 270, 265, and 310.
Great block there by the center, Zach Ravenberg, number 58, the senior, clearing some holes there in the middle. 9-play drive so far for the Katy Tigers. This is what they like. Consume that clock time. Second and 6 now. Johnson looks like he wanted to kick it out to James Aston, but he went nowhere. Todd Bondi and Bo Galbraith with the stop there for Southlake Carroll. Loss of 1. It'll be 3rd and 7 now for Katy. Looks like he was looking for Aston there. Couldn't quite reach out there.
Kind of the design run stretch play, and either that was going to go for little or no yardage, as the Southlake Carroll defense got great penetration. They were in the backfield and really nowhere for Ben Johnson to go. And you got to give the guy credit, the senior, hanging on to that football, not trying to make something miraculous happen, making sure that he maintains possession of it and living to fight another day here.
All right, big third down play now for Katy. 3rd and 7. Timeout. Timeout, Katy. Mike Johnson talking over with the guys. Big play coming up, 3rd and 7. They will break with them. 5:19 left in the first quarter from San Antonio. Dragons lead at 7-0. everybody excited today. 5A Division II state championship. They got the hats working too on those cheerleaders. It's the holiday season. Southlake Carroll leading right now 7-0 over Katy. 5:19 left in the first quarter. Mike Johnston and his staff on your left. Southlake Carroll head coach Todd Dodge on your right. Big third down play coming up, Jay. 3rd and 7 from Southlake Carroll's 41-yard line.
Well, Brian Thompson, the fullback, was the guy that picked up that first down on 3rd down. Be interesting to see what Ben Johnson's going to try to dial in and pick this one up here on this drive.
Johnson trying to find.
Wow, what a catch.
Drew Zeiler. Did he get his feet in bounds? Yes, he did.
Betcha.
What a catch by Drew Zeiler.
Randy, you talk about laying out. My goodness. That was really nice coverage by Southlake Carroll. And Drew Zeiler, very effective on the out routes and curl routes. You see him right there, and he goes out and catches that ball. What a fantastic catch that was.
Good coverage there by Trevor Johnson, but not good enough. Drew Zeiler helps Katy with a first down. 1st and 10 now on the 32-yard line of Southlake Carroll. Roy Scott in motion. Johnson handing. That's Aston outside. Shakes off Trevor Johnson. Picks up about 3 more after that.
Boy, look out, man. If James Aston gets the ball, we talked about him at the open, Randy. Close to 2,000 yards rushing. Obviously, he's over that so far in this ball game, but just the strength that he has and the speed that he gets to the outside, and not a bad job here. Running right there in your living room, good little stiff arm, keeping the guy off of it, picking up yards, and that's kind of one of those runs where he just keeps going downhill, and picking up yards, and next thing you know, he's picked up 8 yards on 1st down.
He's deceivingly quick. Ben Hickson there on the stop. Tackle for Southlake Carroll. Pickup of 8, though. 2nd and 2 from the Dragons' 24-yard line. Johnson again. Aston again. Picks up about 3 yards. Ben Hickson again in there on the tackle. Some help from Wes McFall, the left tackle for Southlake Carroll.
How about Ben Hickson's numbers? It's hard to tell, but 259 total tackles.
Unbelievable. He's a first-team All-Stater. He had 25 tackles last week. 25 in one game against Allen.
Man,
this guy's incredible.
That's just phenomenal.
All right, 3rd short now for Katy. 3rd and 1 to be exact. 23. Definitely field goal range for Morton Beckendorf, their kicker. But they won't need him yet because James Aston powers his way inside the 20 for another Tiger first down.
Looked like that ball might have popped loose, but that was after Aston had hit the ground. That's what you call power football right there. You line up behind big Stuart Freeman, who's 265 pounds, and Joe Longacre, 310. Then you pull Frank Camato over. And that's power football, man. That's lining up in the eye and just mashing you.
Frank Camito, number 67. You see him there. He's looking to hit somebody right there to clear some space.
Yeah.
There's a big fella right there.
Pretty nimble for the big guy. He pulled all the way over from his guard position.
Trevor Johnson in on the stop for the Dragons on that play. You're hearing his name a lot. 1st and 10 now for the 20. Katy looking to punch it in here and respond to the Dragons' first touchdown. That's Aston. And Aston is going nowhere. The stop by Todd Bondi, the defensive end for Southlake Carroll. Nice hustle. Some help as well from Michael Agnew, the free safety for Southlake.
Michael Agnew, Randy, he's the guy that forces the play. Take a look at the bottom of your screen. He comes in and sells out, and that's exactly what you want your defensive back to do. Get in there, sell out, take that blocker out, and let it up to your defensive end to come in and clean up. And, boy, Michael Agnew did a great job coming up. Only 6 foot, 170-pound senior, but he came up, sold out, left a clear angle to the running back for Todd Bondi, who was able to bring him down for a big loss.
All right, 2nd and 14. Johnson looking in trouble. Trying to find his tight end. I believe that would be James Taylor. Michael Agnew on the coverage, though, for Southlake Carroll. Couldn't tell if it hit his hands or maybe his pads. But Thompson was on the run, trying to hurry that throw. Thought he had him there inside the 10-yard line. Good coverage there by Michael Agnew.
Michael Agnew, Randy, did a great job of bringing his left hand around, keeping his body off the back of James Taylor. James Taylor's a lot bigger than Michael Agnew, but he reaches that left hand around, swats the ball down before he can make that catch. That was a big-time play. Agnew has twice now in this series. He's coming up big.
All right, 3rd and 14. Again, the handoff. That is the fullback, Brian Thompson. He is swarmed by several Southlake Carroll Dragons. Adam Hansen in on there with stop for Southlake Carroll. That sets up possibly field goal range now coming up from Morgan Beckendorf. Or will they? Looks like they're going to punt it. Brandon Simchek out there right now. They don't want to take chances at this point. Brandon Simchek, 42 punts this season, averaging 39.5. He won't reach that average here. Just looking to get it inside the 10, hopefully. High kick. Good coverage down there from Katy.
Great special teams play.
Great effort for the special teams, and they'll mark it, I believe, at the 3-yard line. So Southlake Carroll has some work to do on offense. Katy comes up empty, but they do push that ball down the field and they take advantage of some opportunities when they're buried in their own territory.
When you talk about being buried, Randy, they were scrimmaging from their own 15-yard line, and they had a 2nd and 17. And that was a nice job of Katy coming down. Even though they didn't put points on the board, that gives them a lot of confidence.
Take a look at the playoff stats for Southlake Carroll. First half in 5 games, they scored 113 points. They're used to striking early and often. And again, over 400 yards per game is what they're averaging in postseason play. 4-wide set, as usual, for Southlake Carroll. One back, it is Aaron Luna.
And no huddle.
Chase Daniel out to Gary Richardson. That'll be Will Thompson, the sophomore corner, making the stop.
Randy,
and some help from Michael Parker as well.
Yeah, you talk about this Carroll offense, and again, you see them there right up to the line of scrimmage. They're getting the play call in from the sideline. They all wear wristbands. They get the play call coming in. They get the defense set.
It's a thick playbook.
Like they like it.
They know it well.
You betcha. A lot of training, a lot of effort goes into that, and a lot of preparation.
Pickup of 6 on that play. 2nd and 4 now. Mark on the 10-yard line. Daniel again looking. Blitz coming. Gets protection.
Oh, wow, what a catch.
Somehow.
Oh. McKay Jacobson.
Randy Jacobson makes that grab. How the heck did he get his hands on that football?
I don't know how he kept his balance after he got hit by the defensive back. That is a superb job of concentration. Now, again, you got to give credit to this Carroll offensive front line. They are giving Chase Daniel all kind of time. But take a look here at the catch. He almost shuts it down and lets the defender run right by him, stays on concentration and focuses. That was a big-time play.
Johnny Musso trying to get in there on the stop. Didn't happen. Chase Daniel right there brought down at the 36-yard line. Jordan Tanner with the stop for the Katy Tigers. Reaching the 1-minute mark here in the first quarter. Southlake Carroll striking early on their first possession. Long touchdown pass. Chase Daniel to Gedwed to get the Dragons on the board. 2nd and 9 now on the 37-yard line of Southlake Carroll. Daniel firing outside. That is Gedwed again. Brought down by Will Thompson.
Randy, here they are scrimmaging from the 3-yard line. Southlake Carroll. That's the big reception there by McKay Jacobson. Only a sophomore. Guy goes up and gets that one. And Chase Daniel, the quarterbacks of Southlake Carroll are so disciplined in what they do. They look, they make the read, and they know exactly where they're going to go with the football. And if that read is not there, they just go down their progression, and they're very efficient at doing it. You look at the numbers for Chase Daniel, 3,400 yards passing, 41 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions.
First and 10 now for the 47. Again, Daniel looking and fires out. Finds other receivers. Paul Thornton in there on the tackle. It'll be out to Gedwed with the reception for Southlake Carroll.
Southlake very content in taking what the defense gives you. Take a look up here. Got the wide receiver at the top is Gedwed, and you're going to get the go routes inside. Not enough time for the linebackers to get out in the flat and cover that. It's just more than a simple stop route, but it picks up about 4 or 5 yards.
2nd and 6, the hand there to Aaron Luna. Crossing the 45. Keeps turning those legs down to the 42-yard line. Johnny Musso in there on the stop for the Katy Tigers. Right. I guess when you look at his offense, and Mike Johnson's concern is you got these wideouts, 4 of them out there. It really spreads the defense out, and it can create some havoc out there.
We talked about that at the outset, but that's Chase Daniel's job as the trigger man to see those reads and make those plays. And here we are at the end of the first quarter. Southlake Carroll leading 7-0 over Katy.
This week on the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show with many coaches on the hot seat in the NFL, our Jimmy Johnson tells you about the hottest head coaching prospects you've never heard of. Plus, are touchdown celebrations getting out of control, or is it part of the game? We talked to some of the most famous celebrators in the NFL history. It's all on the Ford F-150 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. About to start the second quarter here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Southlake Carroll with the football, leading 7-0. Ball on the 43-yard line of Katy. Daniel hands to Aaron Luna. Big problem. He runs into his left tackle, Adam Ulatowski, who's nearly 300 pounds, and he gets bounced back.
6'6", 280 pounds. He's pulling. You're going to see it right here coming to the right side of your screen. But the reason why he's pulling so deep is because he got pushed by Tate Stewart, the defensive end from Katy. He shoved Ulatowski in the backfield. He knocked into Luna, knocked Luna back for a big loss.
Sets up second and 13 now, all the way back to the 46-yard line after that loss on the Luna carry. Daniel, plenty of time in the pocket. Gary Richardson overthrown a little bit, discovered from Katy's Will Thompson. Take a look at the Verizon first quarter stats now. Total yardage, of course, dominated by Southlake Carroll. 136 yards of offense in that first quarter alone, Jay Walker.
Well, and the 51 yards for Katy, Randy, came on that one drive that they had. Not able to get any points up. Did the right thing by punting the ball away and putting Southlake Carroll on their own 3-yard line. But, I mean, this fast break offense that they run before you know it, here they are now back at midfield, but it's a big third down right now for this Katy defense.
Third and 13. Daniel, shotgun again, looking. Pressure coming up. Katy. Daniel's trouble, has to throw it away. Great coverage on the pursuit by that Katy defense. Johnny Musso in there as well, along with Michael Parker, Brad Scott, swarming Daniel, forcing him to throw that one away.
Excellent coverage by the Katy secondary. We talk about Michael Parker. You mentioned Will Thompson, Johnny Musso earlier, and also include Ryan Mouton. They had all the receivers for Southlake all bottled up, nowhere to go with the football. And that front seven put a lot of pressure on Daniel, forcing him out, and they smartly dumped the ball instead of taking the loss.
Back to punt. It'll be Garrett Hartley for Southlake Carroll. Fielding it on his own 10. Will Thompson, nice return, crossing the 25-yard line.
Penalty flag down on the return, Randy. That was a nice job of Will Thompson, creating some seams and finding an open space to run. We're going to get a block in the back. Wow, that's a heartbreaker right there for Katy. Get a little bit of momentum. You stop this high-octane offense. You get a nice punt return, and you're scrimmaging at about the 25, 26-yard line, and you got the penalty to back you up now, and that's it's the Southlake Carroll defense, as you mentioned at the outset, Randy, maybe a little underrated, but it's tough to go the whole field on these guys. So when you get field position, it's very critical that you maintain it.
Well, their walkthrough yesterday here at the Alamo Dome in the huddle following practice, that's what Mike Johnson and the staff are preaching. Guys, let's stick to the basics. Think out there on that football field. You can't make mistakes against Southlake Carroll, or they're going to make you pay for it. So Katy sets up at the 12-yard line, first and 10 now. Early in the second quarter here in San Antonio. After the snap, Thompson and James Aston in the backfield for Katy.
Katy is going in the wrong direction.
And a 5-yard walk-off. False start on gets Katy. Another 5 yards to that. Driving Mike Johnson crazy already.
But he has a good way of keeping it under control. That's the old duck analogy.
Yeah.
Smooth on top, and boy, underneath, a lot of things are churning.
This is not his first rodeo. He's been through this before. First and 15 now for Katy after the false start penalty. Thompson on the draw, and it'll be James Aston. Nice blocking there up front. Katy stopped by Trevor Johnson with the hit to knock him out of bounds. Michael Agnew helping as well. They mark it line of Katy. Aston.
Well, this is what Katy does best, is the power running game. And Frank Camito, the 250-pound senior, did a nice job of clearing a path for James Aston on that last run.
That offensive line of Katy averages 263 pounds. Offense overall, 9 seniors, 2 juniors for the Katy Tigers. Pick up a fourth, a second, and 6 now from 17. Pedlar in motion. It's Aston again up the middle, crossing the 20 to the 23-yard line. Wes McFall with the stop there for Southlake Carroll. There's a replay. Big hole up front. Just kind of stumbled, I believe, on that turf a little bit. I'm wondering, I know Katy's been here before, so has Southlake Carroll. Will this be a factor at all?
Absolutely not. No, both of these teams have played on artificial surfaces. Probably the majority of all their ball games have been on a variety of surfaces, so no, shouldn't have any effect at all in today's ball game.
3rd and 1. Thompson decides to try to pick up that 1 yard for the first down.
He's going to get it, but not without a lot of effort. You see Johnson coming back, got his head down like, man, that's kind of tough sledding in there. That's when you got to look for that big tailback, get back in that power running game. You know, linebackers like nothing more than to tee off on the quarterback.
So they like to keep it.
Absolutely.
Right in there.
They want a chance to try to knock your block off.
Ball marked on the 22 for the first down for Katy. 10 minutes to play here in the second quarter. James Aston left side to about the 26-yard line. Ben Hickson leading the charge there. Had some help from Todd Bondi as well for Southlake Carroll. And Michael Agnew.
Another stretch play trying to get Aston outside. It's not really designed to get him outside on the sweep, if you will, but it's trying to stretch the field out, let those linemen create some seams and some holes along the way, and then Aston is the guy that makes the decision to call to just knife right through him, picking up about 4 or 5 yards on first down. This Katy offense now seems like they might be getting a little more comfortable with their running game.
2nd and 6 for the 26 now. Again, Thompson hands to Aston right up the middle, but he meets up with, guess who, the middle linebacker, Ben Hickson again. No wonder the guy's got over 200 tackles. He don't ever play this.
259 tackles. The statistician for Southlake, either fingers are burning up paper, or they better have a calculator over there going, this guy's on all kinds of tackles. 6'2", 215-pound senior. He was a starter on last year's state championship team. Another stellar season.
Was considering SMU and Baylor, and just recently gave his verbal commitment to play in football in Waco for the Baylor Bears next season. 3rd and 3 now on the 30 for Katy. Freebie. That's a freebie. The hand over there to Aston again. Ben Hickson, I know, in on the stop. Yeah, that was James Aston again, but as you mentioned, it was a freebie.
So that'll get him
Southlake Carroll offside.
And that'll get him a first down, Randy. It's 4th and 3. It's automatic 5 yards, get that first down.
Well, Katy's they're sticking to the game plan. They're doing what they wanted to do. Just eat up clock time. You got to keep this Southlake Carroll offense on the sidelines as much as possible.
Well, Chris Massey is the offensive coordinator for Katy, and he kind of likes it vanilla. He likes that power running game. You see the wide receivers, they don't run real deep vertical routes, but they're great possession route runners. Catch the ball, and he likes to move the chains, control the clock, rest your defense, and it's been very effective for the Katy Tigers.
So 1st and 10 for Katy after the penalty on the 35-yard line. Looks like Brian Thompson will get the carry up the middle, pick up of a couple. 2nd and long coming up for Katy Tigers.
Randy, we're talking about it. Another thing that ball control does is it keeps that Carroll offense, as you mentioned, off the field, but it also disrupts the timing. When you're on offense, you kind of like, when you run an offense like Southlake Carroll does, you like to be on the field getting plays. Yeah. You don't like to sit over there and base. But right now they're basting in time control, and that's something that they're chomping at the bit to get back on the field.
All right, 2nd and 7 now for Katy. Thompson fires out to Drew Zeiler.
There he is on the outcut again. Talk about it. You're not going to see Drew Zeiler run by you. He's not going to run the post, the deep post, or the deep corner route. He's going to run the outcut and the curl route. Earlier in the ball game, he made a huge catch picking up a first down, and typically he's very reliable with the hands, and one that you would expect him to catch. Comes into today's ball game with 33 catches.
And he really did. I was talking to the offensive coordinator, Chris Massey, yesterday. Drew Zeiler was basically non-existent early in the year. Yeah, and they finally looked and said, listen, we got to get Drew Zeiler the football. So the majority of these catches were during district play and here in the playoffs as well.
He certainly stepped it up and has had a big year.
3rd and 7 now. Shuffle pass, James Aston. Great call. Great moves right there from James Aston right up the middle. Pete Phelps in there on the stop. Too little, too late, though. It's another first down for the Katy Tigers. They'll mark it at the 49.
Well, that is a big conversion, Randy, because we're talking about 3rd and about 7 yards. Not real comfortable ground for Katy. And they're able to run the shovel pass right there, and Aston picks up that first down. That was a perfect play call by Chris Massey. And great execution by Ben Johnson.
Wade Weir out there now, along with Chris Pedlar, receivers for Katy. James Aston hurdles over a defender, picks up an extra 5. Ben Hickson, Pete Phelps, the linebackers again on the stop.
Well, at the open, we talked about this big front for Katy. Jordan Tapscott, Frank Camino, Zach Robinberg, Stuart Freeman, and Joe Longacre. And I'll tell you right now, they're winning the battle in the line of scrimmage. And James Aston is a big physical guy. He was a state champion in wrestling in the 181-pound division. Let me tell you what, you know a lot about wrestling. I know you've covered some high school stuff. Yeah, that is not an easy sport. Got to be very tough, very strong, mental and physical.
2nd and 4 now, the 45-yard line, back inside Southlake Carroll territory. Again, it's Aston right up the middle, following those lead blockers. Inside the 40-yard line, another first down for Katy. Let's also downstairs, Dave Knobler with more on Southlake Carroll's offensive coordinator. Dave.
Actually ran as a defensive coordinator. Of course, the Dragons D has been on the field quite a bit today, but they have a lot of study and perseverance. The defensive coordinator, Charlie Stalkup, is suffering from a 4th stage of melanoma. It started out as a little mole on his back, simple skin cancer, but it has spread in the internal part of his body, and he is making chemotherapy, but he's still here calling the signals for the Dragons defense today. Quite a story and a lot of inspiration for Southlake.
Certainly is, and we wish him the best in his recovery. It's Ben Johnson finding Drew Zeiler, and he'll get inside the 25-yard line of Southlake Carroll on a first down play.
Well, Drew Zeiler is showing. We talked about his hands earlier, Randy. And you're not going to see Drew Zeiler make a lot of deep routes as we've been talking, but here he is at the top of the screen. Watch him come back on the curl route. Gives a little post move, shuts it down, goes up, catches that football in his hands and secures it. Close to breaking the tackle, and that's exactly what you're going to get out of Drew Zeiler.
He really planted the foot.
You bet.
Tried to freeze that defense, and he did a good job on that one.
Drove him off on the post route, came back. Ben Johnson did a nice job of delivering the ball.
So here's
Katy on the mark.
Here's Katy again. 1st and 10 from the 24. Thompson handing to Aston. Big hole right there. Nearly breaks away for Ben Hickson. One more step, and he was in the end zone on that one.
So the power running game going over that right side. Stuart Freeman and Joe Longacre, and also getting a nice block by his fullback. Just clearing the way. You see him taking people off their feet. And hey, an arm tackle is not going to bring down James Aston. You have got to hit this guy between the numbers and wrap up, because if you don't, he'll run right through you.
You saw 3 guys make great blocks on that one running play for Katy to make it happen. Pickup of 9. It is 2nd and 1 on the 15. Thompson upstairs looking for Zeiler, but overthrown.
Trace Reagan on the coverage there. Had man coverage. Tried to hit Zeiler on the go route, on the 9 route. He's coming up a little. Looks like he may have fell awkward on his stomach area. Looks like maybe his flak jacket or something might have poked him in the ribs. He's coming off the field, though. But I tell you what,
that previous play, he looked like he had gotten hit pretty good, too.
They're going to have to make sure that they attend to him pretty quickly. They need his hands on this offense.
3rd and 1 now for Katy. They are 6 of 7 on 3rd down so far today.
Watch out for Thompson right here. See if he gets out in the flat.
James Aston right up the gut.
That's power football.
That's right. Chris Sparks with the stop there, the senior linebacker, along with Michael Agnew making the stop for Southlake Carroll.
38, Chris Sparks.
Again, you give it to the big guy in crunch time. They needed it from James Aston, and they got one plus a few. And the drive continues. Another first down for the Tigers now at the Dragon 13-yard line. Thompson rolling out. Looking for Wade Weir, but wasn't high enough. That is Chris Sparks got a hand on it to knock it down. Looking on the cross route, looked like Wade Weir was coming over at about the 5-yard line.
That was a little bit of a razzle-dazzle bootleg right there by Katy offense. Ben Johnson fakes the play out to the wide side. Watch him here as he goes out, fakes it, comes back around. Now you're going to catch Weir coming across right there. And the tight end, James Taylor, went up and got a hand on that one. Otherwise, Weir would have scored.
2nd and 10 now for Katy. Looking to punch it in and tie this football game up. Carroll leading 7-0. Again, if you just joined us, Dragon struck first on their opening drive. Thompson again trying to pass, and it's knocked down by number 84, Todd Bondi, defensive end for Southlake Carroll.
He was looking for Drew Zeiler on the quick slant route, and he had it. Todd Bondi, great job, 6'1", 205-pounder. But here he is, nice inside move right there by Drew Zeiler. If Bondi doesn't get a hand on that, the position that Zeiler had on Cameron Parker, cornerback, probably would have put him in the end zone for a touchdown.
All right, 3rd and 10 now for the 13th and 17th play on this drive for Katy. They are 7 of 8 on 3rd down conversion. Can they get another one here? The fake to Aston. Thompson looking. Touchdown, Katy Tigers. Chris Pedlar hauls it in the corner of the end zone.
Set up by the dynamic power running game that Katy has displayed on this drive. A lot of time, Ben Johnson does a nice job of making the play fake. He's got 2 guys out in the route. He finds Chris Pedlar right at the pylon about the half-yard line. Pedlar does a nice job of catching the ball, hanging onto his balance, and sliding back inside the pylon for the touchdown.
Extra point coming up. Morgan Beckendorf, he is perfect on the season on the PAT, and he will stay that way. 61 of 61 on the season. We are tied in the 5A Division II state championship at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.
Randy, we're going to take another look at this touchdown play by Katy. As we roll the tape here, you're going to see the play fake by Ben Johnson. Very nice. You stop the tape right here. You look at the cornerback. He's looking to the inside, and he's got his back to the receiver. Very dangerous to do that. Pedlar recognizes it. Ben Johnson puts the ball right on the money between the 8 and the 2, and Pedlar puts it in the end zone for a touchdown, and we got a tie ball game.
We'll take a look at the Dodge scoring drive for the Katy Tigers. 17 plays, 88 yards, 6:42 off the clock. James Aston played a big role in that drive, and of course Pedlar holding in that 13-yard TD reception. The Katy Tigers have 2 17-play drives so far in this football game. Shay, the first one turned into a punt. They get the touchdown here on the second one. You can't ask for 2 better time-consuming drives for the Katy Tigers.
Time-consuming, but very important for Katy to get on the board and get this game close, because if you keep giving Southlake opportunities, they're going to put up points. Only 3 times since in the last 31 games have they scored less than 30 points. I mean, these guys are fast-breaking and high-octane, and they're going to put some points up, so you got to keep it close.
Luna fields it at the 1, gets some big blocks, big hole, crossing the 30-yard line. Finally brought down at the 34. Nice stop. Nice run by Aaron Luna. Jared Cahart actually in there on the stop for Katy.
Aaron Luna's quite an athlete. We talked about him in the backfield. Now you see him on special teams. I mean, 2 summers ago, he spent the summer in Venezuela as an outfielder on the National Junior Olympic team. I mean, the guy's a phenomenal athlete. He's also won a punt, pass, and kick. And
yeah, he's likely going to be a draft in the baseball draft next year. He's still got another year. He's only a junior. Southlake Carroll sets it up at their own 34-yard line. Plenty of time for Daniel. Pressured by Robert Lewis.
They're just throwing the ball away. That's
good pursuit by the big guy, the nose tackle for Katy. Robert Lewis, the senior, 6'1", 250.
Randy, let's tell you what happens too, though. It's the coverage. It's the zone coverage that's going back by Katy. And very wisely, very heady play by Chase Daniel to throw that ball at the feet of Aaron Luna. But what's happening is that Katy secondary is dropping back in quarters. They've got their defensive backs lined out. They're running their linebackers out. And if you can put pressure on Chase Daniel, makes those throw lanes very narrow. It makes it very difficult for him to find somebody open.
Daniel out to Gary Richardson. We're not throwing Ryan Mouton's way very often, but they did that time. But Mouton was the stop.
And the moos that you hear, those aren't boos, those are moos for Mouton.
Well, Ryan Mouton, this kind of runs in the family. His brother Keith was on that 2000 state championship team. They spoke a little bit during the week to get ready for this one today.
And very sure tackle coming up from that corner position. That's the key. Keep it in front of you.
Pickup of 6, so 3rd and 4 now for Southlake Carroll at the 40-yard line. 3.5 to play here in the first half. Again, more pressure on Daniel.
Fantastic catch. It's going to go for a loss. You're not going to see many catches, Randy, that go for a loss any better than that one.
And it gets the Tiger faithful on their feet. Defensive stance from Katy. Of course, the Katy defensive coordinator is Gary Joseph, the son of Eddie Joseph, former executive director of the Texas High School Coaches Association, as Daniel, as you see there, takes a lick before he releases the football. So the Carroll Dragons force the punt again. It is Garrett Hartley set up at the 25-yard line. Bad snap, still gets it off, plenty of time. Fair catch made by Katy at the 25-yard line. They'll get another shot at it with 3:20 left in the first half. We're tied 7-7 at the Alamo Dome. This week, it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning in America's #1 pregame show. First, the Giants battle the rival Cowboys as Dallas tries to keep their playoff hopes alive. Then the 49ers take on an Eagles team looking for their 10th straight win and trying to wrap up home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Coverage begins at 11 a.m. Central. The biggest stories are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox. The 5A Division II State Championship is on Fox Sports Net. We're tied 7-7. 3:20 left here in this first quarter, or first half, I should say. This thing has gone quickly thanks to 2 17-play drives when Katy has had the football, and they take over 1st and 10 on their own 25. Bid Johnson handing there to James Aston. Spins his way to the 30-yard line, maybe the 31. Pickup of 6. 2nd and 4 now for the Tigers. At some point, you got to open it up a little bit inside 3 minutes to play here, Shay, and try to find a way to get some points out of this.
Well, Katy, though, Randy, their comfort zone is running the football. It's ball control. That's plenty of time for them to move the chains. You know, they're going to get a stop a clock on a first down.
Right.
So for them, they're very content taking what the defense will give you. Try to find your wide receivers on the little out and curl routes and then keep hammering the running game.
Well play to James Aston. Nobody home for Southlake Carroll. Bo Galbraith trying to haul him down. He misses. Knocked him out of bounds inside the 30-yard line at the 23 on a draw play from Jared Gayhart, who's now in at quarterback for the Katy Tigers.
So the backside blocking, Jordan Tapscott and Frank Camino doing a great job on the backside there, allowing that cutback, and outstanding vision by James Aston. He goes in. Randy looked like he was going to try to run that ball out to the right. He sees the crease in the seam open outside on the left, and he's just fast enough and smart enough to bang it out there and picking up a huge gain. And, well, you talk about time. Didn't take him very long to get it down in scoring position.
18 carries, already 120 yards for James Aston at 2:15 a week ago. That was a pickup of 46 yards. 2.5 to play. Tigers threatening again. It's Gayhart handing again. Aston slipping, falls down at the 21-yard line.
Aston slips down to the help of number 85, Adam Boydster.
With a pickup of 1, so it'll be 2nd and 9 now for Katy. Threatening to take the lead over Southlake Carroll. 2:09 and counting here in the first half. Ledet in the backfield now for Katy, number 31, giving James Aston a quick breather. Jared Gayhart in their quarterback for this series for the first time, and that is Kevin Ledet, his first carry of the day, inside the 15-yard line. Michael Agnew with the stop for Southlake Carroll.
Well, Kevin Ledet comes into today's ball game averaging right at 6 yards a carry, so the times that he has come in to spell James Aston, there's certainly not a drop-off in the performance of the running game for Katy.
That's a good thing about this Katy ball club. There's no egos out there. Everybody knows their role. Kevin Ledet knows he's the backup of James Aston. When he gets his number called, he goes out there and he tries to produce. 3rd and 1 now for Katy. Another third down opportunity. They've had a lot of success with 7 of 8 so far in this football game from the 14-yard line. 8 of 9 on third down conversion. That's Ledet again, stopped by Trevor Johnson. Looks like he should have the first down, and yes, he does.
And the play resulted in a first down.
As we told you at the top, Mike Johnson doesn't mind rotating his quarterbacks, not all the time, but he said you're going to see that guy, number 11, Jared Gayhart, in there. He's a 6-foot, 170-pound junior.
13-yard.
Can you talk about
Spelled Ben Johnson quite well so far during the season.
Certainly has, and I'm telling you, really impressed with that offensive front of Katy. They are making a lot of creases and seams for those running backs to find.
1st and 10, it's Kevin Ledet again, straight up the middle.
Number 31.
To the 8-yard line of Southlake Carroll. 36 seconds left, and Katy will call a timeout. Think about it. Good blocking up front again, Jay.
Well, the blocking and the seams are great, and you see that guard pulling around Frank Amato coming in, and every time you got a 250-pound hammer leading you into the hole, makes it really nice if you're a running back to try to pick up some yards. And we're talking about it. Southlake Carroll comes into today's ball game on defense, giving up about 167 yards a game rushing. You just saw James Aston's first half yardage, and
120 and change already. Yeah.
This is exactly how dominant these Katy Tigers are.
This is how Mike Johnson drew it up. As James Aston, he will return to the lineup here. Again with 36 seconds left. 8-yard line, so Katy has to get points on this. There's no way you can go to the locker room and not get at least a field goal if you can't punch it in the end zone.
Certainly the momentum in this ball game. It looks like Katy might have been a little slow to wake up, if you will, at the beginning of the ball game. Again, we caught the long pass for a touchdown, but it was a very short drive, and since that time, Katy has come back and really dominated the clock and also the ball game.
All right, a little look at the history of the Katy Tigers. Of course, 2000 Division II state champions. They also won it all in 1997 on the D1 level. The last time they missed the playoffs, Jay, was 1990. That's called stability in a program.
You bet. You bet. This is a phenomenal job, and this is a senior staff that Coach Mike Johnston has with him.
2nd and 6 now. Ball marked on the 8-yard line. 36 seconds left. Gayhart handing James Aston back in there. Good stop. Ben Hickson breaking through. Tripping up James Aston, a loss of 2.
Well, when you need a big play, Katy's going to call another timeout, Randy, but when you need a big play on defense and a stop, who steps up with your senior 6'2", 215-pounder, Ben Hickson.
Katy timeout by Katy, yeah. 23, you got to think about how you want to attack that. You're looking at a 3rd down play. 3rd down and 8 now. And you're back at the 10-yard line after that loss of 2.
And I'll tell you,
after the running play by Aston.
If you think about the way that this game is gone, but we'll take a look here.
Last 5 years, take a look at the tradition of the Katy Tigers. It goes way back from that, but this last 5 years, lost to the state semis last year, 2nd round in 01. They won it all on the D2 level in 2000. Lost in the Division II final in 99. 98, they lost in the state semis. I mean, they're used to playing
no stranger to the late rounds of the playoffs. What I was going to talk about right now, if you're Katy's, or if you're Southlake Carroll's defense, you've got to be very careful here, because we've seen Ben Johnson able to find Peglar, able to find Zeiler, and he gets those guys out, and they're getting man coverage. So now if you're loading up that 8 in the box to try to stop the run, you got to be careful, because those wide receivers so far in this ball game have shown that they can get open and catch the ball.
Here's something to watch. Jared Gayhart again in there at quarterback. He hasn't thrown a pass yet. Will that pass be right now, or do you just give it to the big fella standing behind you? 3rd and 8 now for Katy. The fake to Aston, and he's going nowhere. Todd Pondy leading the charge for Southlake Carroll, along with number 31, Adam Hansen, the weak side linebacker for the Dragons. 12 seconds and counting now for Katy, trying to get this field goal off. No timeouts left. They'll mark it at the 25. This will be a 35-yard field goal if they get the snap off. And no, they don't.
Oh, my. Well, Ben Johnson.
They failed to get the snap off. They hustled out Morgan Beckendorf. The field goal kicker for Katy was set up. No timeouts left.
Couldn't get the right personnel. Couldn't get the right personnel. What a great half of football that we have here in San Antonio. You know, Randy, what made that last play, Pete Phelps from his linebacker position just came in and absolutely cut off any alley that Jared Gayhart was going to try to get out on the pass route.
Well, he wanted to tip that pass just in case it was incomplete. The clock obviously would stop, and the field goal opportunity, they'd have no problem. Instead, he gets sacked right there. The clock winds down, and they gave it their best effort, but they needed about another 2 or 3 seconds to get that off. That would have been a 35-yard field goal attempt from Morgan Beckendorf. If good, it would have given the Katy Tigers a lead, but instead, we will settle for the 7-7 tie at the half. Not sure the last time Dragons were held to 7 points at the half, but here to talk about it, let's go downstairs. Dave Knobler standing by with the head coach of the Dragons, Todd Dodge.
Well, Coach, you're feeling fortunate to be tied right now. Certainly an easy 3 could have been on the board for Katy there. Outside of that first minute and a half, Katy sort of had your way with their defense.
Well, they have controlled the ball. You know, we've had a minimum number of possessions, and our second, our third one, they played our screen real well on the 3rd possession. They did a nice job there. We've got to come out and be a little bit more efficient on offense, keep our defense off the field. Our defense, in turn, has got to, we can't be giving up those, 10, 11 play drives. And so, that's the things we'll work on at halftime.
Obviously, stopping Aston, another key for you in the second half. They've been running him right and left.
Oh, yeah, well, that's no secret. I mean, he's a tailback that's rushed for 2,000 yards, and so, yeah, we've got to get him stopped.
Okay.
Thank you.
Best of luck in the second half. Randy, Shea, back up to you.
All right, Dave, appreciate it. Again, 7-7 at the half, and thanks to 2 time-consuming drives, 2 17-play drives for the Katy Tigers. Ate some clock up, and they are in this football game. Halftime festivities with Rick Ritter, Dana Larson coming up.
Well, it has been a terrific first half out at the Alamo Dome. We are all knotted up at 7 apiece between Southlake Carroll and Katy at the break in the Class 5A Division II Texas Bowl. And, well, James Aston, more than 100 yards in the first half. However, Carroll, known for its offense, getting it done on the defensive stand right before half.
What a game. Should be a great second half. Welcome into our Fox Sports Net studios. I'm Rick Renner alongside the great Dana Larson. And we bring in the state championship coach, the man who knows everything about that, North Crowley's Mike Pappas. Great to have you in. What are your initial thoughts of the first half so far?
Well, I think it's a great game. It may not seem that way from the fans' standpoint, but for a coach who knows a little bit more about football, it's fantastic to watch. It's great defense. It's converting on 3rd downs. It's long, explosive pass plays. It's really got everything you want.
Let's take a look at the first half highlights. It's interesting because kind of a surprise, Southlake Carroll comes out of the gun fast and furious, and they like to do this on offense. You've talked about it, Coach. Chase Daniel hooks up with Kenton Gedwed, 66 yards, and just like that, it's 7-0. You're thinking it's going to be a marathon at this point.
I think Southlake came out and they wanted to set the tempo of the game, and they wanted it to be a quick game. They wanted to score fast. They wanted to score often. They wanted to try to get Katy into a scoring battle. And if that's the way it turns out, it's in Southlake's favor.
Well, Katy has been here before. We know that for sure. They've got the experience in '97 and 2000 winning this game. So they were not at all surprised. In fact, they weren't shocked. They stood right in this game in the first half, controlling the clock with James Aston, as we said, on a tremendously long drive, a 17-play, 88-yard scoring drive. It took up over 6 minutes and to tie this ball game up, and coaches said this is exactly what they wanted to do.
I think it's a credit to Katy that they didn't get flustered after Southlake scored quickly. They came back, and I think it's part of it is their offensive line. Their offensive line is controlling the line of scrimmage. They're converting on a lot of 3rd downs, and they're just controlling the clock. It's way in their favor. And even on their first drive, when they didn't score, they ate up so much time off of the clock, they kept Southlake's offense off the field.
You look at this Aston kid, 18 carries, 120 yards. I know when Todd Dodge goes in there with his defense, and you've said this defense is stout before. Are you surprised that defense has given up this kind of running?
They're smaller than Katy. I think the size advantage goes to Katy. And Katy, when I've seen them before, they're big. They're big offensive line. And I think they're starting to wear them down. I think one of the things that Carroll is going to have to do is they're going to have to take a few more chances. The first drive when they stopped Katy, they did it because on first down they brought some heat. And they gave them a bad play on first down. They forced Katy to throw the ball on second and third down, and they caught him a little off guard, I think, and that's why they stopped him the first drive. And I think they're going to have to do a little bit more of that. And I think Katy's going to have to do a little bit more of that on defense.
All right, well, much more on this game coming up in just a moment. We're going to turn our attention now to the second game today, the 4A Division II game coming up later this afternoon.
That's what, you know, Denton Ryan and Lamarck, when they square off right here on Fox Sports Net, it's going to be sparks of flying. Denton Ryan, Coach Joey Florence, will be the elder statesman as far as head coaching goes at 37. Florence is 3 years older than the Lamarck coach, Brian Irwin.
Florence also has 3 more Texas Bowl appearances than Irwin, but as Dave Scallon tells us, the younger coach's team is primed to be back on top, somewhere they haven't been in several years.
On 3, give it all you got on 3. 1, 2, 3, give it all you got.
They're back. After 4 years of watching state title games from the couch, the Lamarck Tigers are now back in a familiar spot, one they occupied every year from 1993 to 1998.
I remember when I was a little kid, when they was going to the state finals, everybody was like, that was something you already knew that Lamarck was going to be in the finals. It was not even a contest. It was like, it's going to be Lamarck and whoever else in the finals.
This year, the Cougars face another team that isn't a stranger to championship games, Denton Ryan, and their high-flying offense that can put up points on any defense.
It's the best football team we faced. They're loaded on offense. The defense is quick and fast like ours. They're tenacious. They've got great players on both sides of the ball, and it's going to be a heck of a football game.
And while everyone at Lamarck agrees that Denton Ryan will be the toughest opposing team they've faced all year, there's also a consensus that Ryan won't be the toughest challenge they've faced. They say that right's reserved for the team they play every day right here on the practice field.
We practice with the best receivers and the best quarterback and running backs and offensive line in the state. And when you have that on the team, that makes you a whole lot better on both sides of the ball.
We got so much better last spring just by going against each other. And it does help when you can simulate the speed on both sides of the ball in practice that we're going to see in the ball game.
And as for who would win if the Lamarck defense, nicknamed the Black Curse, had to stop the Lamarck offense, known as the Big O?
We would. They couldn't score on us. We already established that in spring ball. Yeah, we'll score. I know we'll score. You know, we have too many weapons, and I think we can handle all the weapons that we have.
We do discuss this quite a bit here in Lamarck, and Luke said that we play great defense, and that's where our tradition lies. I'd have to put it on the Black Curse, that defense.
A curse the Ryan Raiders hope they will be able to break on Saturday. Dave Scallon for Fox Sports Net.
Thank you, Super Dave, and you can see the Class 4A game right here following. There it is. In visual pleasure there at 4 o'clock right on Fox Sports Net. This is going to be a great one. You can see it right here on Fox Sports Net. Of course, we'll have an in-between show with all the celebration from the state championship game from the 5A game, which is at halftime tied at 7 between Katy and Southlake Carroll.
Looking forward to that. Hey, and don't forget, tonight at midnight, it is a very special edition of High School Scoreboard Live on this final championship Saturday. Rick and I will be right here with highlights and analysis from every game today. Of course, a look back at what's been a terrific season. We'll have the best of the DQ games of the week as well, and we'll announce our coach and player of the year. I think we may have a nominee.
Very big-time candidate.
Over here with us. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what's your take on that game, or the second game of our doubleheader, Denton Ryan, and boy, I mean, you just look at this. They're loaded with athletes in this one.
It's going to be a show because both teams have got such great athletic ability. You've got the Goldsmith for Ryan. You've got Bobineau for Lamarck. You've got Derek Loki for Ryan. It's just both teams are stocked with great athletes. I think it's going to be a fast game. I think it's going to be a very exciting game.
Now, you have a friend that's on the staff at Lamarck. What's he saying?
Our 15 games and his 16 games, we haven't gotten to talk very much.
Yeah, been busy over the last few weeks. I can imagine that. All right, well, we are staying busy here as well. It is halftime of the Southlake Carroll Katy game. It is all knotted up, 7 apiece at the Alamo Dome. We will be right back with much more of the halftime festivities.
It's all knotted up at halftime for all the marbles in 4A, 5A rather, I should say. Southlake Carroll and Katy toe-to-toe because somebody's home must go. Going to be a great second half right here on Fox Sports Net. Also, the Class 3A Division II bracket. It is Atlanta, now 11-4 on the year, having beaten Vernon last Friday night, taking on Marlin, who's also 11-4 after quite a game last weekend in the Alamo Dome. 6 p.m. kickoff in Tyler at Rose Stadium.
Well, the Marlin Bulldogs are making their second state title game appearance. The first time came 39 years ago in Class 2A. Last week they beat Port Isabel 41-10. They have 4 scoring plays of more than 60 yards, including a touchdown reception by Cody Malone. It was his first touchdown of the season, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
That was his first touchdown in 15 ball games. It took him, to get in the end zone. But like I told him last night when I saw the replay on the TV, I think I was just about to catch him. I was about to outrun him. I told him going down the sideline.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when he's 98 or somewhere around in there. We'll always talk about this game right here Saturday. We'll always talk about it.
Team Square got the thing sewed up. Hey, the Atlanta Rabbits and Marlin Bulldogs have 2 things in common. Each school is playing in their second title game, and neither has won. Atlanta beat Vernon 32-14 last week, and if they're going to win, they need another big game from Curtis Burns. Burns was a one-man show against Vernon, 160 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, 2 sacks, and a fumble recovery on defense. He even served some cocktails at halftime. Game time, 6 p.m. at Rose Stadium in Tyler.
Well, Coach, this time last weekend you were getting ready to kick off in your championship game, which of course had a very happy ending for you in North Crowley. Talk a little bit about this season. A lot of people wanted to call you the Cinderella team. You haven't said that you really liked that, but after the start this year, it had to be a very satisfying end.
Well, I don't know if I like the term Cinderella. It was a magical season for us. About halfway through the season, I'll be honest with you, I felt like we were destined for some type of greatness. Greatness to me, if you reach the quarterfinals, that's pretty great. To say I knew we were going to win the state championship, that's stretching it a little bit, but I really felt like we were a team of destiny. I think there were some things that were happening that gave me a glimpse of what was going to take place. And I'm not a prophet by any means, but I just think that we were destined to do something great.
You look at it, you start the season 0-3. What kind of speech, how were you able to turn that whole thing around? Because most teams, when they go 0-3, the kids are going to throw up their arms and that's it. They're looking forward to basketball.
Well, I think that our kids, first of all, our kids expected something better. And when we went 0-3, they knew that there was something wrong, something that needed to be fixed. And we had a team meeting, and our kids would tell you it's called a Come to Jesus meeting. There were some decisions made, some tough decisions, but decisions that had to be made. And we changed some things after that, not so much the plays we ran or the defenses that we called, but some things internally within the team. I think what came out of that was a lot more confidence, a lot more motivation, a lot more responsibility among the individual players. And I think that was the turning point. That was the big key.
Well, congratulations to North Crowley's first winning season, first time in the playoffs, first state championship.
Genius.
How about that? Yours as well after 20-some years in coaching. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, much more to come. Stick with us here. We are rolling along on halftime festivities. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Take a look at the Class 2A Division II bracket. Now 11-4 Bangs coming off a win over Panhandle. It was Panhandle's first loss of the year. The Dragons will play Garrison, who is yet to lose at all this season. This game is in Waco, and it is just getting underway. For a little preview, Bangs Dragons back in the Class 2A state title game for the second year in a row. As you saw, they're coming off a 52-20 win in the semis. They're led by running back Jacoby Jones, who's rushed for 3,339 yards and 45 touchdowns.
The Garrison Bulldogs are one win away from a perfect season in the school's first state championship. They beat Rogers 16-13 in overtime in the semis last week, and their success depends on if they can stop, of course, that great Bangs running back in Jacoby Jones. Their defense has allowed only 15 points per game during the playoffs, so this should be a great ball game. We'll have highlights on this one later on Fox Sports Net. Well, this afternoon will mark the third time Garrison has been to the state title game. In 2001, they lost to Salina. In the 81 contest, they lost to Pilot Point. G.A. Moore probably had something to do with all those, right? Many on that 81 team will be in attendance today in Waco. Watching things, Donovan Campbell took a trip down memory lane with these former Bulldogs.
In 1981, Afros, Shags, as well as Michael Jackson, working on the album Thriller, were the in thing. However, in Garrison, Texas, the 1981 Bulldogs football team were the in thing. At 14-0 and just one win away from the 2A state championship.
Well, it was a lot of fun. We didn't get the job done.
And after a disappointing loss in the state final game to Pilot Point, 32-0, those guys in the 81 squad are confident that the Bulldogs, 22 years their junior, will take care of that unfinished business from 2 decades ago.
Man, we had a lot of weapons back then, 20 years ago. But let me tell you what, Garrison's stacked this year. They got a big line. They got 5, 6 weapons running the ball. They can score on any given play.
That team worked hard, and they got there, and they left some unfinished business. Quite my senior year, my last high school game ever. I plan to set it straight and finish it strong.
And although the 1981 Bulldogs team only gave up 27 points in the regular season and pitched 7 shutouts, they still don't think they even come close to the present-day Dogs, which are headed to Waco this Saturday for the state's top hardware.
They tougher than we was, I believe, because they getting the job done that we couldn't get done.
Oh, them boys out of my league. I was good back in my day, but now them boys are awesome. They got some God-given talent.
And for one present-day Bulldog whose dad played on that 1981 team, which fell short of their goal, Dad couldn't see a sweeter redemption than for his son to bring home that state title, which he didn't.
I won't never forget getting there and not getting it, so you can imagine how it'll be for them to get there and to get it,
He doesn't really talk about it a lot. I get him to talk about it every now and then, but, it was really kind of a disappointing thing for them. He's happy that we got a chance to do it now.
That would just be the icing on the cake for the biggest little town in East Texas, a football state championship.
All right, thank you very much, Donovan. And a quick update on that game. It is 14-0 Garrison with the early lead. Of course, we'll have highlights coming up for you throughout the day on that one.
And, of course, don't forget about a doubleheader game. The second game of our double dip here, we have Lamarck and Denton Ryan. Our state championship coach over here is going to show us the trophy for a little while. He'll be back. Coach Pappas, we appreciate you hanging out with us. For Dana Larson, I'm Rick Renner. We'll throw you back out to the second half of action in the Alamo Dome. The Katy Fighting Tigers hanging in there, tied at 7 with Southlake Carroll. We'll be back right after this short timeout.
The 5A Division II Texas Bowl on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by State Farm and your local State Farm agent. And by Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen, that's what I like about Texas. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horn. Dodge. And by Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by the University Interscholastic League. The Riverwalk in San Antonio. A lot of the folks inside the Alamo Dome will head there after this game is over with. We're at the half right now. It is Southlake Carroll and Katy all even at 7-7. With us now is Dr. Bill Farney, the Executive Director of the University Interscholastic League. Good to see you again, and you've been busy the last couple of weeks making your rounds various state championship games, haven't you?
Yeah, right, Randy. It's been a real busy season for our staff, especially our athletic staff, Dr. Brydup and Rachel and Peter and Mark. But we enjoy it. We enjoy this time of year because we get to see the fruit of the labor from all the season's football games.
You're here for this game, and then you make the trip down to Waco for the 1A game between Shiner and Windthorst tonight in Waco, right?
Right. We've got staff members spread all over, and Rachel's going to do tonight's game here. And so we, as I said, we really enjoyed. You know, we see not only the fruit of labor of the football coaches and the players, but all the bands, the great bands we just heard from Southlake Carroll and from Katy, and we get to see the culmination of the fall season. And it's a wonderful time of year. The holiday spirit's upon everybody. And, of course, we say there are no losers in a well-planned contest, but whoever leaves here that doesn't win will be a little disappointed for a while. And then they realize what they've done this season, and they will take a lot of delight and satisfaction in their season.
Well, you feel for the teams that didn't make it to the championship game, but the two we have here today certainly worthy of being here. Southlake Carroll, a defending state champion. They've got the winning streak on the line today. Mike Johnston's been there for 22 years, and what a job he's done at Katy.
Mike Johnston is an epitome of consistency. I mean, he's been in this thing for many, many years. Of course, Todd, what can you say? The winning streak he's got going, the state championship last year, in his first year of Conference 5A, coming out of 4A. And, of course, they're just representative of a lot of great coaches in Texas. And, you know, thinking of the coaches, we think of an immortal that passed away in the coaching ranks. Gordon Wood was a family friend of ours, my father-in-law, and he played basketball together back in Wiley. And they almost made it to the state tournament, but lacked one game. And Gordon was called Babe Woods, and he was a leading scorer on that basketball team. He went to college on a basketball and football scholarship combination, although he never played football in high school. And we remember Gordon not only for the victories he's had, for what he's taught young coaches and the giving of his time. He would let you talk with him anywhere about football, and he would talk at the drop of a hat. A wonderful gentleman, and I know his family will miss him, and he's been a great deal to this state.
And that's the special thing about Gordon Wood. At the age of 89, he was still giving back to high school football. I mean, if it was a game he wanted to watch, he was there. Meeting with young coaches, he was doing it.
Not only that, Randy, but he would be at our state basketball tournaments front and center because he loved the game of basketball, and he supported that in Brownwood and wherever he was as well, although football was his #1 love.
Very good. Dr. Bill Farney, the Executive Director of the University Interscholastic League, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing the game into the homes for the people who couldn't be here.
Very good. We're at the half at the Alamo Dome, the 5A Division II State Championship. We're all even 7-7 between Southlake Carroll and the Tigers from Katy. We'll take a look back at the first half and get ready for the second half when we come back. Halftime festivities wrapping up here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. We're all tied at 7-7. Katy with a chance there at the end of that first half. Shea Walker, the time ran out. They had the opportunity for a field goal, and the time expired. They were not able to get that field goal attempt off. Let's take a look at the first half stats now. Brought to you by Verizon Wireless. First downs. I mean, you look at Katy kind of dominating that category on the ground. This is what they wanted, 134 yards in the first half, Shea.
When you look at this, too, Randy, at the rushing yards, I mean, the big disparity here. We talked about Southlake coming into today's ball game, only giving up 167 per game on average. They've already given up 134. Credit that big Katy offensive line for that. And if you go down to total plays, it's not on this particular thing, but Katy has run 42 plays compared to 18 plays for Southlake Carroll. And if you're Southlake Carroll and head coach Todd Dodge, 18 plays and a half is not going to get it done.
Time of possession, 15:51 to 8:09 in favor of the Katy Tigers. Quickly, let's go down to the field. David Oliver standing by with Mike Johnston.
Thanks a lot here with Coach Johnson. And I mean, the game sort of played out exactly like everybody thought. I know you're upset that you didn't get those last 3 points on the board at the end of the first half, but you've got to be proud about the way your team has kept Carroll off the field.
Well, we're playing the tempo game. We've got to play in order for us to win, I feel like. We're a little disappointed we didn't convert on a couple of situations, but we got to put it behind us and focus on upcoming 24 minutes.
That's right, 24 minutes to a third title for you. Anything special to tell the kids, maybe stories from what's happened right for you the last 2 times you've won it?
We've been playing really well all the way through the playoffs in the second half. It's challenging to get out there and demonstrate some faith in themselves or their teammates and what's going on. So that's what this is about. Get out in that arena and don't just talk, let's walk.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. That's what up in the second half. All right, let's send it back up to Randy and Shea.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. The kickoff there from Garrett Hartley, returned by Will Thompson for Katy to the 25-yard line. That's where the Katy Tigers will set up to start this second half. Again, 2 of their drives in that first half, and Coach Johnson just talked about it. time-consuming drives, 17-play drives. They had 2 of those in that first half. They ate up over 15 minutes of clock time in the first half compared to just over 8 for Southlake Carroll. So a big series to start this half momentum-wise, Shay, to get some points on the board.
Well, certainly for Katy to do that, to maintain what they had in the first half, and for Carroll, they've got to find out a way to stop this power running game.
First and 10, handing off to James Aston right there, tripped up by number 85, Adam Boyston for Southlake Carroll. Pickup of 2 to the 27-yard line. James Aston with a big first half. We mentioned 215 yards for the junior running back Katy last week in the win over Schertz Clemens. 120 and change in the first half today against Southlake Carroll. Ben Johnson, quarterback, dumps it out to Ryan Mouton. Mouton spins, picks up an extra 5 or 6 yards, brought down by Michael Agnew. And Adam Hansen also in there on the tackle for Southlake Carroll.
Now keep in mind, Ryan Mouton, he is your starting cornerback. But nothing more than a simple stop route, excuse me. He sees that he's got that man zone coverage behind him. He picks up the ball, and I tell you what, he talked about his older brother being on that 2000 team. It was a pretty salty running back.
Yes, he was.
Well, Ryan right there showing you he's got some pretty good running moves of his own.
Yeah, his brother Keith now at New Mexico State, and they spent most of the week together. Keith was down at Katy and passed some advice to him about playing in the big game. That was Wade Weir in motion. And that is James Aston again, crossing the 45 to the 46-yard line. Second and 5 coming up, actually 6-yard gain. That's second and 4.
This mass football, the big fellas up front for Katy doing a great job, and even though Aston takes hits, he doesn't go down with arm tackles, or he doesn't go down if you just hit him up high. You saw he took a shot there by Michael Agnew, trying to fight off the block, come over the top and hit him. He just shrugs that one off and picks up about 3 more yards after contact.
Second and 4 for Katy. Brian Thompson, James Aston in the backfield. Draw play, it's Aston. Looks like he made it. May have made it back to the line of scrimmage. George Gray with the stop there, the right tackle for Southlake Carroll. Actually a loss of a yard on that play, so that'll make it 3rd down and 5 coming up for the Tigers.
And for Southlake Carroll, you're going to want to keep an eye on Brian Thompson, the fullback. This is kind of his money area. They like him in that third and 3, 3rd and 5 range, and they like to get him out in the flat and see if they can't get him the football. Converted one of those earlier in today's ball game. Let's see if Ben Johnson goes back to that well.
Receivers, Zeiler top of your screen, Roy Scott bottom screen. Thompson going upstairs, and it is Drew Zeiler over his right shoulder and hauls that one in to the 10-yard line.
And Drew Zeiler is down. Well, Randy, we talk about him. He's hanging on to his right hamstring right now, and you just got to hope that he's not seriously injured right here. But take a look. He's up here. He's got man-to-man coverage. Cameron Parker in coverage, doing a nice job, running stride for stride. But he starts to separate right there as the ball is up in the air. And what about the throw by Ben Johnson? That was a great throw, and allowing Zeiler to run underneath it. And, boy, you see him stretching out as he goes down, and it looks like he's got his hands wrapped around that right hamstring almost immediately.
There's the right hand. That's right. Trevor Johnson with the coverage there for Southlake Carroll. Trainers out there. That's out the stretch.
I never ran past the hamstring.
The trainers for Katy.
Well, it's good to see him come off the field, Randy, the way that he's coming off. That means that he probably may have gotten a knee or something that kind of jarred into his hamstring in that tackle there, but it was really good to see him come off the field under that kind of power.
They definitely need him in that lineup. I want to mention the athletic trainers that were out there helping him were Justin Landers and Russell Sadbury for Katy. And we'll see if Drew Zeiler returns to the lineup for the Katy Tigers. First and 10 now for the 12-yard line. Katy threatening again. James Aston, right side, bounces off one tackle. Down to the 6-yard line. It's a pickup of 5. They'll mark it actually on the 7-yard line. 2nd and 5 coming up for Katy.
You got to figure, Randy, at this point in the ball game, where Katy is and where they've come from, is that they're just going to be just hammering the ball in right now because they've had such success in getting pushed by those front 5 offensive linemen.
Especially on that right side with Long Anchor and Stewart Freeman. They're doing a heck of a job.
Very dominant in this ball game so far.
All right, 2nd and 5 from the 7 now. Thompson and Aston in the backfield for Katy. The hand goes to Aston. Todd Bondi in there to make the stop, though. Quick contact. Aston maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard. They'll mark it on the 6-yard line. That's a pickup of 1. 3rd down and 4 coming up now for the Katy Tigers.
Well, they can still get a first down if they just crack the 2-yard line. They can get a fresh set of downs if they can get it inside the 2.
Katy 10 of 12 so far today on 3rd down conversion. So that is the percentage Mike Johnson likes to see, yeah. Flag on the play. Let's see what the hanky is all about here.
Going against Katy's false start. My goodness.
So that kind of hurts you. Instead of 3rd and 4, you're looking at 3rd and 9 now. They've marked it at the 11-yard line, so you need to get to the 2-yard line to pick up a first down.
But it certainly changes, though, what you can do or what is available to, because you got to feel like Katy, with the success that they've had in this ball game, are confident picking up 3 or 4 yards. But now you back them up another 5 and make it 9. It's a little bit more difficult and kind of changes the play call mindset for Chris Massey.
Roy Scott and Drew Zeiler. Zeiler back in the lineup on the left side, top of your screen. Roll out right. Johnson jumping off to Aston. Yeah, he's going to be short by at least a couple of yards. They're going to mark it at the 4-yard line. Needed to get to the 2 for that first down. So decision time coming up for Katy.
Well, yeah, they want to go for it. You see the offensive lineman go for it. That's the play that we see a lot now. We talk about Brian Thompson. He's very dangerous on that 3rd down. They'd like to get him out in the flat. You see right there, he gets too close to the first down, and now it's what you call hammer time if you're the Katy offensive line and running back.
All right, 3-back set. You've got Aston, you've got Stephen Greenlee, and you've got Brian Thompson. 4th and 1. Ben Johnson on the keeper, trying to get inside that 2-yard line. Gang tackled by Southlake Carroll. Ben Hickson leading the way. They might need a measurement on this one. It's going to be close.
I don't think he made it, Randy.
Southlake Carroll thinks it's going the other way.
Well, they played that. They defended that very well. At the outset of the play, it looked like Ben Johnson had a lot of room to run around the top. Look, great job on the play fake. You're thinking he can score if he just goes to the pylon. Decides to cut it back up and try to make that first down, and the swarming Southlake Carroll defense comes up, and boy, I think it's going to be very close.
He was looking for a block from Brian Thompson, and Brian Thompson was just a tad too late on that one. Here comes the change. Carroll will hold him and take over at the 2.5, 3-yard line. That's got to hurt. That's twice now into the first half, first series here in the second half that Katy is within striking distance, and they come up 50.
Well, just a fabulous drive. They go with the deep ball down to Drew Zeiler, and I love the halftime adjustment. Drew Zeiler does not run deep routes. He doesn't catch the ball down the field. Chris Massey, offensive coordinator, saw something that he liked in that man coverage, felt like he could get his wide receiver outside, and he did. Katy with a nice drive, but still come away, as you said, Randy, with no points.
2-yard line is where Southlake Carroll opens its first series of the second half. And there in Luna, maybe a yard. Nick Smith in there on the stop, along with Tate Stewart. Strong tackle for Katy. This is where the defense has to respond, Shea. This is where you have to answer the bell and stop this Dragons offense.
Well, this Dragons offense has not been on the field the whole lot. That was only their 19th play of the ball game. Very uncharacteristic for those guys. Trying to break something with Aaron Luna, but Chase Daniel right now is going to have to see if he can get them out from underneath their goalpost.
Daniel looking now. He's scrambling. Crosses the 5. Makes it to the 8-yard line.
Boy, I tell you what, Chase Daniel's a warrior. Everything was falling around behind him back in the backfield. He was about 4 or 5 yards deep. All the receivers were covered. And he had to just kind of slog through there to pick up about 4 yards. But nice job by Katy getting pressure up front and taking away the receivers downfield. Nice job of Chase Daniel protecting that football.
Tate Stewart and Justin Fredrickson on the tackle there. It's 3rd and 5 now for Southlake Carroll. Again, Daniel will keep. And Daniels going nowhere. Swarming deep by the Tigers. That'll force the Dragons to punt the football. Derek Trish leading the way for Katy on the stop. That is how you answer after coming up empty-handed by this Katy defense.
That swarming defense, Chase looking for somewhere to go with the football, and he's getting bounced around a little bit like a pinball in there.
Last two possessions for Southlake Carroll, 3 and out. They'll punt it away. Garrett Hartley with the honors, and it's blocked by Paul Thornton.
Ball goes out of the end zone. That'll be a safety.
Paul Thornton got his right hand on that with pressure on Garrett Hartley. And the Katy Tigers with a big break. And they get 2 back.
Randy, Southlake has not been able to get much going on offense. This Katy Tiger defense is swarming. They now lead this ball game 9-7.
We're breaking away. 4:42 left. After the safety, Katy leads at 9-7.
Randy, looking at this punt block, you got Paul Thornton, the big 6'4", 200-pound junior. He's going to come in. You're going to see the block step out here, and you're going to see this guy go down, and Paul Thornton is going to come right through there and block that punt.
Comes in untouched to Garrett Hartley. He had no chance.
Lays out
Garrett Hartley just had to turn around and say, have it, man.
Yeah,
he
lays
three
out
guys
that big 6'4" frame, and
big break for Katy. They get 2 back. They lead at 9-7 now. Does it almost make up for the missed field goal opportunity in the first half? At least get part of it back.
No, it's a momentum thing. It's not as much the points as 2 versus 3. Doesn't really make up for it, but it's the fact that you're feeling in control of this ball game. And that's what Katy feels right now, because they're having a lot of success moving the football. They're keeping this high-powered Southlake Carroll offense off the field and putting them into 3 and out. And so it's all building. It's just a function of the momentum in this ball game right now. And certainly Katy has it.
Southlake Carroll kicking from the 20 as Katy gets the football back again. Ryan Mouton fields it at the 15, follows the blocker straight up the middle to the 37-yard line. Loose ball. Dragons say they got it.
Well, they say they have it, but the referee said that Katy does.
The referee says the Katy Tigers will hold on to that. Ben Hickson, I believe, in there on one of the hits on Ryan Mouton as they thin out that pile on the referee. He gets pushed around a little bit.
He is. The Carroll Dragons say they have it, but the referees are saying that the ball is down or maybe down by contact, and we'll see. Oh, they're having a discussion now, so this could be a... There you go. Back to Katy. There's Mouton bringing it. Gets hit on the outside, takes a pretty big shot. There's the ball on the ground right there.
Offsetting penalties.
That's down in the scrum, fighting for the ball.
Yeah, one on Southlake, one on Katy.
And give the referees credit right now, Randy, for taking control of this ball game.
Can't let it get out of hand in a state championship game. They did a good job there. Todd Dodge doesn't like it, but he's going to deal with it. 9-7 right now. Katy with the lead. All of a sudden, you look at that clock, Shay. Already 4.5, 4:37 left in the third quarter. This is right how Katy diagrammed this up. If they put a game plan in, they want to eat clock, and they've done it all day.
This is their script, and you got to give the guys, we've said it over and over again, and it deserves to be repeated. That offensive line for Katy has just had a phenomenal ball game today.
So Katy starts at the 37-yard line. Johnson pitches out. James Aston hurdles over 2. Battles his way for an extra couple to the 44-yard line.
Well, Randy, we talked about this.
Pickup of 7.
When we heard Coach Dodge on his way in from the half when he was down with Dave Knobler, he said, hey, we're not surprised. We know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And everybody knows what Katy's going to do. They just line up and they mash you. And they're, like I said, vanilla in a good way. It doesn't mean they're unimaginative or not creative. It just means that they do something really well. And that's what they're doing right now. They're controlling the line of scrimmage. And they've got the big hammer, James Aston, back there, picking up big yards.
Now, these long drives have to be starting to wear out Southlake Carroll's defense, especially in the first half. That's Aston round left side, turns the corner. For Michael Agnew pushes him out of bounds. Well marked down at about the 48, 49-yard line. First down and 10, Katy.
When we talked about the size of this offensive line, the heaviest guy that Southlake Carroll has up front is Adam Boydson. He's 235, but otherwise they go 200, 210, 205. They're giving up a lot of pounds to these big guys for Katy up front. Right now, the power of that Katy offensive line is winning that matchup.
Katy inside Dragon territory again. 49-yard line. Johnson again, pitching. The hand to Aston. That is Todd Bondi. Nice hustle, breaking through for the big stop. Todd Bondi having himself a pretty good football game as well. We're hearing his number a lot today.
That came into today's ball game with 109 tackles, 10 sacks, 10 tackles for loss. He was a starter, as we said earlier, on the state championship team last year. He knows what it's like to play in big games.
He shook off the tackle of Katy. George Tapscott just busted through, and nobody got in his way, and he ran right into James Aston. Loss of 4, second and 14. Back on the 47 now. Play action out to Drew Zeiler, I believe. Stretched out, tried to haul it in, but couldn't get it done. Third 14 coming up now for Katy. Drew Zeiler still, you can tell he's not at 100%. Just by the way he's walking back to that to the sideline in the huddle. Still hobbling just a little bit.
Big third down for this Carroll defense, Randy. To get back in this ball game, to swing the momentum, get their offensive ball back with relatively decent field position. They've got to stop Katy right now if they want to get back in this football game.
Third 14 now. Roy Scott in motion for Katy. Johnson is 5 steps back, looking, now he's on the run. Brought down by Ben Hickson at the 47-yard line. Pickup of 6 yards. Still well short of first down. Brings up 4th and 8. So Katy will punt this football away as Brandon Simchek comes in for the Tigers.
There's a Hickson and Hansen combo. Adam Hansen also in on that tackle for Ben Johnson.
McKay Jacobson back for Southlake Carroll. Main punt return man for the Dragons. McKay Jacobson, only a sophomore. Simchek with the punt. Pretty good hang time. Fair catch called by McKay Jacobson at the 12-yard line, and that's where the Dragons will take over when we come back. 2:24 left. Katy leading Carroll 9-7. This week on the Fox NFL Sunday pregame show with many coaches on the hot seat in the NFL, our Jimmy Johnson tells you about the hottest head coaching prospects you've never heard of. Plus, our touchdown celebration getting out of control, or is it all part of the game? We talked to some of the most famous celebrators in NFL history. It's all the Ford F-150 Fox NFL Sunday pregame show, Sunday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. Southlake Carroll takes over on their own 13-yard line, 1st and 10. Randy McAvoy, Shea Walker, Dave Knobler with you. This is the 5A Division II state championship game. Katy leading by 2, 2:24 left in the third quarter. Chase Daniel on the keeper, crosses the 15. Justin Frederickson with the stop for Katy.
Chase Daniel, no stranger for running the football, comes into today's ball game with 1,439 yards rushing, averages about 5.6 a carry, 17 touchdowns on the ground, so he's certainly used to using his feet as well as his arm.
Daniel fires out. That is Gary Richardson near the first down. Will Thompson on the tackle for Katy.
Man, we take a look at it, but look at here. Here's the Katy defenders. They're playing that 4 zone across the top, and they're just playing quarters. They're keeping everything in front of them, and so you got to hit that either short ball really quick off the 3-step drop, or just as soon as you get it out of the shotgun snap. And that's the read that Chase Daniel's having to make. But right now it's important for Carroll to get a little bit of continuity, a little bit of rhythm on offense.
Luna with the carry. Stop made by number 22. That's Johnny Musso for Katy. Stop on Aaron Luna.
You're playing quarters like this, when you're playing quarters like that, you got guys like this that can fly up and make the stop. That's exactly what you have, because they're not down, they're not deep covering a half, they're up close covering a quarter. Difficult to get by them. They come up and give good run support as well.
That was a pickup of 3 for Luna. It's now 2nd and 7 from the 27. Again, Daniel handing to Luna, crossing the 30.
There's Tate Stewart on the tackle right there. You know, Tate Stewart started the season, Randy, as the tight end, but he broke his hand in the 2nd week of the season. They said, hey, the guy's a player. We've got to have him on the field somewhere. So they took him from tight end. They put him at defensive end. He wore a big club for most part of the season. You might see him at tight end sometimes, but right now he's really established himself as a pretty dominant defensive end.
This is not a defense full of superstars. Ryan Mouton, one of the quarterbacks, 2nd team All-State. Other than that, nobody makes the All-State list, even honorable mention for Katy. Daniel dumps it off. That is McKay Jacobson. Stepped out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Pick up a 5. Michael Parker pushes him out. Another first down for the Dragons.
A little substitution there. You see it on 3rd down. Linebacker gets in late. Just a little quick screen. That's man-on-man. All you're trying to do right there is get a first down, and he figures if he runs in there late, Frederick says, I might as well get a lick on the guy.
28 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 for Southlake. Fed to Luna. Daniel Keith. Good blocking right there. Crosses the 45 near the 50. Paul Thornton in there to make the stop on Chase Daniel. Another first down for Southlake Carroll.
Real fine job of Chase Daniel, just taking that on his own back right there. Design play all the way for him to run the football. We talked about him over 1,400 yards. Follows his big tackle, Adam Ulatowski, picks up that first down.
Yeah, he gave him a shove, and Ulatowski went down. How did he knock down the big fella? That's what I want to know.
He was trying to hit somebody from the front. He wasn't ready to get hit from the back.
Final play of the 3rd quarter. Again, Daniel, the keeper. Derek Trish with the stop, along with some help from Nick Smith as well for Katy. As time expires here in the 3rd quarter, it was 7-7 when we started this thing. Katy gets a safety, and that's the way it stands right now. 12 minutes to play before we crown a state champion. Katy leads at 9-7 after 3. Welcome back to the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. Final quarter, the 5A Division II State Championship. Katy leading by 2. Let's take a look at possessions so far today. Shea Walker. We'll start with Southlake Carroll. That offense has not been on the field very long today, have they?
No, they started out with that first touchdown strike, and you thought, oh boy, here we go. Another high-scoring, explosive game for Southlake, but give a lot of credit. You look at these here, punt. They got one blocked, their first possession of the 2nd half. And now they're on a 7-play drive, and now Katy, time-consuming. Look at that, Randy. You talked about that earlier. 2 17-play drives. Just chewing up a lot of clock and really scripting themselves well.
That was a 2nd and 6 play by Southlake Carroll. Daniel on the keeper. And Derek Frisch with the stop for Katy. Pickup of 1. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 5 now for Southlake Carroll at the 47-yard line of Katy.
Kenton Gedwed caught that first touchdown pass. That was a 66-yarder. And other than that, Chase Daniels run a couple of plays ago of 12 yards. It's the longest play from scrimmage that Southlake has had.
Dragons held last time. Can Katy? Daniel gets loose, picks up an extra 5 before being stopped by Michael Parker. Good blocking in front of him on that play as the Dragons pick up a first down as they get to the 35-yard line.
Not only good blocking, but let me tell you what, Chase Daniel, he makes decisions. Randy, watch. Stop that tape if you can right there. You see him as he comes through. He is not to be denied picking up that first down, because as he goes through, he knows he's got to get to that stick. It's 3rd down. There's no hesitation. He's not looking to make the pitch. He sees the read right away and exploits it, picks up a huge first down.
Daniel looking and finds Jerry Richardson at the 25-yard line. Maybe inside the 25 to the 24. Will Thompson pushes him out of bounds. Pickup of 11 or 12 yards on that play down to the 24-yard line is where they're going to mark it. 1st and 10 again for Southlake Carroll.
Jerry Richardson comes in. He's been relatively quiet, but he comes into today's ball game with close to 900 yards receiving and 15 touchdowns. Not not had too many chances today.
This might be Southlake Carroll's longest drive of the day. They're giving their defense a rest. Daniel up top, trying to find his receiver, Drew Williamson. Flag down on the play, though. We'll see if there's contact.
I tell you what,
ball arrived.
This is going to be close because Drew Williamson looked like he might have been the guy that was getting a little bit of separation off of the defensive back from Katy, and that's the way it's going to go.
Pass interference on Southlake Carroll.
He used that left arm right down here at the end. You'll get a good look at it. Well, you don't see it there.
Yeah,
but
you caught the end of it. He pushed off last second on Michael Parker.
Now, see, we don't say pushed off. Now, he didn't push off. He was just creating space. That's wide receiver lingo.
Oh, is that the proper lingo? Okay. Creating space.
You just want to try to create a little space. Make sure you've got your area covered.
I'm going to write that one down. That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's like, you don't call it a pick route. It's a rub or something like that, right?
So big break for Katy. Pass interference call. First and 25 now for Southlake Carroll. And this football is pushed all the way back to the 39-yard line.
Well, right now, I think it's critical. It's first down. As you mentioned, 25 yards, but they've got to get some field position. In the worst case, have Garrett Hartley a place to kick a field goal. Wow, look at Chase Daniel run the football.
He just kept spinning. He got great blocking. Had the fake to Aaron Luna. And nobody was going to bring him down until Michael Parker decided, hey, I'm on 12 before he goes to the end zone.
My God, what a great run, though. And then the balance that you see. I mean, the guy has been bounced around a lot, but you just see him. He's taking this team on his shoulders right now. And he's saying, come on, boys, you can ride me. And here he is just making people miss, running through arm tackles. He goes from the first and 25 to now second and about 6 yards.
Gain of 19 on that play. Second and 6 all of a sudden from the 20. Daniel handing to Aaron Luna. Picks up maybe 4 yards. Or brought down by number 22, Johnny Musso.
You got to give a lot of credit right now to Tate Stewart, Robert Lewis, Nick Smith, and Jordan Tanner of that front 4 or 5. Paul Thornton included in that. They made this sled really tough for what I consider to be an exceptional back, Aaron Luna. He's not had a lot of teams increases, and they've really been very aggressive at the point of attack as that Katy defense.
Yeah. Aaron Luna has not gone crazy on it. There's Luna again, crossing the 15 down to the 13-yard line. There's Grish with the stop. That'll be enough for a first down. They'll mark it at the 12-yard line.
Say Aaron Luna, very physical back. Watch him as he goes through. He's not a small guy that's going to go down the hand tackle, but he takes a couple of pretty wicked shots right there. Jordan Tanner's the one that laid the last one on him, but he's still strong enough to fight through those and pick up that first down.
Yeah, Trish got a hand on him, and he kind of carried him for a couple extra yards. Here's Daniel right up the middle. Big gain inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. Again, it's there, Trish with the stop. So all of a sudden, this offensive line,
not even a quarterback.
Defense back a little bit.
Yeah, this isn't even a quarterback draw, man. This is just like a handoff to the I-back, but he takes the snap, Chase Daniel. Yeah, that's pretty nifty move by the official there. See him turning his back to protect himself.
Move it out of the way, that's right. Well, it's just like Mike Johnson said, it's like they've got a couple of running backs back there with Chase Daniel and Aaron Luna. Second and 1 now from the 3. Luna over the top. Touchdown, Dragons.
Been silent for so long in this football game. How about Chase Daniel? Bringing this offense back, who has been stagnant with the exception of that first series. Bringing that, and he's almost willed them into the end zone, Randy, because without him in this drive, they were first and 25 after the penalty. After the pass interference penalty was called, he picks up 19 yards, and all of a sudden he picks up another couple of yards and gets them down knocking on the door, and here they are. It looks like they're going to go for 2. With the score at 13-9. 4
receivers out there from Southlake Carroll. Daniel looking for one of them, trying to find. And he gets it. 2-point conversion is good for Southlake Carroll. And just like that, they are back on top, 14-9, with 9:12 left in the fourth quarter here at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. It's a barn burner in the 5A Division II State Championship. All right, Southlake Carroll Dragon fans excited. The Dragons back on top 15-9 after the touchdown and two-point conversion. Shane, let's take a look at that touchdown again.
Aaron Luna just goes over the top. Gets into the end zone for the touchdown. A little bit of a power running game right at the middle of that defense for Katy. And here's the two-point conversion. You're going to see Gedwet out here. Runs that little spin route as a choice route. And the throw is perfect by Chase Daniel, allowing him to catch that football, get both feet in bounds, picking up two. And that's an important two-point conversion as it makes it a 6-point lead right now. And wow, Randy, take a look at the scoring graph. Carroll has not had much going all day offensively. Here they go for 5 minutes and 12 seconds. And how about Chase Daniel? 6 rushes and 54 yards on that drive. And he almost willed that Southlake Carroll offense into the end zone.
Well, these are defending state champions. They've been through it before, and sometimes you need that experience to come through in crunch time. And that was a huge, huge series for Southlake Carroll as they kick it off. Fumbled football down the corner by Kevin Ledet. And that is not the mistake Mike Johnson wanted to see, as Southlake Carroll all over him to swarm Kevin Ledet, and Katy is backed up again inside their 10-yard line. They'll mark it at the 6.
Well, Ledet, normally sure-handed. He is a backup running back, just not able to get a hand on it. And you see he makes the mistake of looking up the field before securing the football. We credit that Southlake Carroll special teams for getting down and covering that one up. But hey, not a bad job by Ledet to hang on to that football.
Well, you don't want to cough it up. At least they hold on to it. Keep possession. Mid-series starting right now on the 6-yard line with 9:06 to play here in the fourth quarter. To Aston, left side to the 10-yard line. Pick up a 4. Brings up 2nd and 6 now for Katy. I guess you got to stick with what got you here. So far today, they've been riding those.
Hey, no reason to stop. Like you said, I mean, this offense has been very dominant all ball game. And even when you think there's not much time on the clock, we've seen them break big runs. We've seen Aston do it. Also, we've seen them go a little bit off script and go downfield deep to Drew Zeiler. So the Katy offense has got a lot of potency today.
Wade Weir, Roy Scott, and receiver. That's Aston right up the middle. 2, maybe 3 more. Ben Hickson, linebacker for Southlake Carroll with the stop again. This guy's all over the place.
He's all over the place, but I'm telling you, Randy, when you look at this offensive line from Katy, these fellas are big now, and they're just knocking folks off the ball. See him getting up to the 2nd level. You see right there, you got big Joe Longacre, a 310-pounder, getting on a defensive back, and that's a matchup he's going to win every time.
Right. 3rd and 4 now for Katy. A lot of success on 3rd down plays for most of this one today. They need 4 to get a 1st down. Johnson over the middle. Finds tight end James Taylor.
He's not going to be there.
Trevor Johnson meets him and says, "You're not going anywhere." Cameron Parker also in there as well.
Hey, this is a play we saw him working on at the beginning of the game. And here's your tight end right here. He's just going to run a little slant, come inside, and he's going to pop it right back out. And, boy, you got to give Cameron Parker, the cornerback, a lot of credit for staying home on that, because they were trying to pick up that 1st down, but Cameron Parker was having none of it, stops him short, forcing a punt right now. Tremendous play by by Cameron Parker.
Brandon Tipchek back to punt, standing on his own 1. Averaging 39.5. Pretty good hang time right there. Gets a good bounce. Great bounce. Katy hustling down, special teams crew. They'll mark that at the 37-yard line. So Southlake Carroll takes over. 7 minutes exactly left in the 4th. 7:01, 15-9, Southlake Carroll.
Yeah, they're up.
This week is a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader, beginning with America's #1 pregame show. First, the Giants battle the rival Cowboys as Dallas tries to keep their playoff hopes alive. Then the 49ers take on an Eagles team looking for their 10th straight win and trying to wrap up home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Coverage begins at 11 a.m. Central. The biggest stories are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox. 15-9, Southlake Carroll leading Katy. The Dragons take over on offense with 7:01 left here in the Alamo Dome in the 5A Division II State Championship. For a programming note, at 4 o'clock, the 4A Division II State Championship. We've got that live as well between Denton Ryan and Lamar.
This crunch time game is on.
Daniel the fake to Luna, decides to keep, and a last last-minute stop by Michael Parker. Got his hand and tripped up Chase Daniel. Otherwise, he had some open room ahead of him.
But Chase Daniel was trying to bounce that out to the outside. He had a really nice block by one of his wide receivers there. Looked like Drew Williamson was blocking on Paul Thornton. But the fact is that Thornton kind of held his ground and didn't allow anything to happen. Look right here at the bottom. You're going to see the block. And that block is what freezes Chase Daniel. Doesn't allow him the vision to bounce it out to the outside. And when he tries to bounce it out, Michael Parker's there to bring him down.
2nd and 7 from the 39. Daniel, the pocket, looking over the middle. It's McKay Jacobson with the catch. And the big hit by Michael Parker is Johnny Musso. But he crosses the 50, and it's a first down for the Dragons.
Gary Jones, the defensive coordinator for Katy, has done a great job of getting his team prepared for this high-octane offense in Southlake Carroll. But let me tell you what, that catch right there by McKay Jacobson, the 5'10", 170-pound sophomore, what an outstanding catch. He goes in there. He knows he's going to take a big shot.
And here he is, a sophomore willing to take the hit.
In the state championship game, I'm telling you, that's a big-time play.
Daniel on the keeper, crosses over, finally brought down by Derek Frisch and Justin Fredrickson.
You know what, Randy? One of the things right now that we're seeing is Carroll starting to get their offensive sea legs under them a little bit, where they're a little bit more comfortable. But what Katy has done defensively is they've taken away all the outside, all the quick stuff, and pretty much for the most part, with the exception of that first drive, the deep ball. And so they're forcing you in the middle, and they're saying, if you're going to go to the middle, we're going to tag you. Well, McKay Jacobson, you talk about sending a signal to his team and those other wide receivers, hey, guys, go in the middle and get the ball.
That's right. Be willing to take the hit. Luna up the middle. Gang tackle led by Robert Lewis.
Oh, Robert Lewis. My goodness. Oh, man.
The pickup of 2 tough yards by Aaron Luna. Very tough yardage. 3rd and 1 now coming up. Ball spotted on the 38. They need to get to that 37-yard line.
Got to figure it's either going to be Daniel or Luna, which is kind of right up the gut to get that first down.
Daniel tries to keep, crosses over, plenty of running room, down to the 30-yard line before he's hauled down by Nick Smith of Katy.
But, you know, that
clock keeps rolling. Another first down for Southlake Carroll.
That's one of the things you think about. Here you go. You've got this offense. Okay, you're used to them throwing the football. You take that away from them, and I really like what Coach Dodge has done with this offense, because he said, okay, guys, if you are going to spread out, you're going to take that away. It's not what we normally do, but guess what? We're going to start running the option. Now, you don't hear about Carroll running the option very much, but now they're doing it. We're going to get a timeout by Katy right now, because they realize very critical point in the ball game. And with 4 minutes and 50 seconds left, trailing 15-9, they're going to call a timeout and see if they can't slow down some of this Carroll momentum.
Here's our State Farm trivia question today as we take a look at that. What teams did Katy defeat in the Texas Bowl in 2000 and 1997? Jay, any ideas?
You know what? I'm going to take a pass.
Oh, come on, that's the easy way out. Now, there it is. In 1997, they beat Longview 24-3. Swept East Texas. They beat JT 35-20 in 2000.
We did this last week with Craig Wade.
Yeah. Well, he knows everything.
Yeah, he knows everything, and quite frankly, if he knows everything, you know everything beat. You know, you're right behind him in this high school sports thing. So the next time that we do a broadcast, and our illustrious producer, Jeff McElroy, wants to put up a trivia question, I'm reading the question.
There you go. That's good. Put me on the spot.
That's exactly right. Well, look for that very enticing. Yeah, look for that very enticing read in the next game when we have the Division IV championship.
You got the honors. I'll try to pick. Now, perfect.
I love it.
See where Craig gets me is he knows the county roads.
You know it.
I mean, across the whole state. I don't know that. That's where I got to draw the line.
Not only that, but the scores and the players and the stats. He got it all.
He knows it all. James Daniel looking for some kind of crease. He doesn't find it. 3 Tigers in there on the tackle. Brad Gott, Tate Stewart leading the way. 4:36 and counting now. 2nd and 8 for Southlake Carroll.
And
even the 29-yard line.
Yeah, excuse me, Randy, but I was going to say, even though Southlake Carroll runs a no-huddle offense, they are in no hurry to get up and snap the ball. So they're going to get their play call. They're going to come up. They're going to get time. You're going to let your time run. You see here's Chase Daniel. He's 4 or 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. As the play clock winds down, you'll get up and get the signal for the snap.
So the calling in a new play there to Chase Daniel. Hands it off to Luna. Cuts it outside. Michael Parker trying to make the stop. And he does. What a play by Michael Parker. Nice hustle by the senior free safety for Katy to make that stop.
But it looked like Luna had some running room if he was going to be able to break the perimeter, but Michael Parker, outstanding, coming up from that free safety position, coming in today's ballgame, almost 100 tackles, 4 interceptions, and he's been a very good pass defender as well, but on that particular play, he came up and absolutely delivered a big play for that Katy defense.
He broke his arm in the 3rd game of the season and bounced back quickly. Mike Johnson was anxious to put him back in that lineup, and he's making some plays today. 3rd and 7. That was Daniel looking
not
for Kit Gedwet, and he was underthrown. Take a look at the total yardage between these two compared first half, second half for Katy. Nearly 200 in that first and second quarter. Held to 107 so far here in the second half for Southlake Carroll. Pretty balanced. 137 in the first half, 143 so far. And the Dragons are going to go for this field goal. Garrett Hartley was spotted at the 35. It's a 45-yard field goal. He's got plenty of leg. We'll see if he can knock it through. Snaps. The kick is up, and the kick is no good. It's wide left, and Katy gets the football back. Garrett Hartley had been 17 of 20 on field goals during the season, his longest being 54 yards. And Shay, we saw him in the walkthrough yesterday, booting him in from 55, 60 yards. Here's a replay from behind here. He just kind of pulled that football wide left. He doesn't miss very often.
No, he does not. Very reliable kicker. Certainly he's got a strong enough leg, but you know what? When you pull it wide left, here's what happens to you. You get your plant foot too close to the ball. His plant foot was a little close, and that's going to make you pull it or hook it left.
All right, so Katy gets it back. 3:23 left. They start at the 28-yard line. It's Johnson handing to James Aston. Huge hole up the middle. He's brought down by Pete Phelps. Pick up a 5. It's 2nd and 5 down for a 33. And there's plenty of time, Jay. I guess with 3 minutes left, you can still keep running the football like you've done all day, but eventually you're going to have to throw it a little bit. Ben Johnson rolling left. He is looking. Tip pass, looking for Ryan Mouton. Mouton, despite the tip pass by the linebacker, Ben Hickson, nearly makes that catch.
Mouton, special athlete, but nice job. This is the 2nd time now that we've seen the Carroll defenders get up and get their hands on a ball and tip it when it looked like Katy might have something working in the passing game. And that's really hard to coach. I mean, you got to give the defensive coordinator, Charlie Stockup, a lot of credit, because when you see the ball, hey, you don't have to get to the guy, but when the ball's coming, you got to get up and get a hand on it, and they've done that a couple of times today, and that puts Katy in a pretty precarious 3rd and about 7.
All right, 3rd down and 5, actually from the 33. Again, the draw to James Aston, big hole, gets some great blocking right there from James Taylor. James Aston down the right sideline, inside the 40-yard line of Southlake Carroll.
Well, when you've needed it, and you've needed it in a big way, that front 5 for Katy has just been phenomenal. You're going to see Aston take the ball over here, and he's going to break it right back to his right. Goes right across the face, gets a great downfield block by his wide receiver right there. Turns it up and picks up a lot of yards before stepping out of bounds.
That's the important thing. He stepped out of bounds to stop this clock. Smart play by James Aston, 2:39. 1st and 10 for the 46-yard line of Southlake Carroll. Johnson out. Drop pass, trying to find Ryan Mouton. Mouton telling himself, I should have had it.
I should have had it. He goes,
my bad.
Don't run before you catch it. Now, we saw him earlier go upstairs and catch a high ball, turn it around and make a couple of people miss. On that one, he was just a little too eager. You'll catch him right here at the top of your screen. Just wants to run before he catches it. That's pretty fundamental. You got to secure the ball before you can take off upfield. But you can sense Ryan Mouton knowing what this game means to Katy. He's had a heck of a ball game. He's just trying to make something happen.
2nd and 10 now for Katy, still the 46-yard line. Roy Scott in motion. There's some movement on the line. Could be.
It's going to be a false start on Katy.
Nagabi, number 69. I thought I saw some movement from him. The guard, the right guard for Katy. We'll see who they call it on.
Well, we're not going to get a name or a number, but you're going to get the false start. And when you're 290 pounds, it's kind of hard to hide when you move a little early.
Here's our Dairy Queen game summary for today. Again, 15-9, Southlake Carroll. Aston, 175 rushing yards. Chase Daniels, 74 on the ground, 163 through the air with that touchdown. Second and 15 now at the 49 after the penalty. Ben Johnson looking for Mouton, and he's got it! Ryan Mouton with separation and hauls it in from Ben Johnson, and the Katy Tigers have tied this football game 15-15 on the 51-yard TD strike from Johnson to Mouton. Let's take a look at it again, Shay. Plenty of time in that pocket. Beautiful throw coming up. In Mouton, you see the separation from the two defenders.
Well, we talked about it earlier. We saw Drew Zeiler run the deep post route. These Carroll defenders have been kind of squatting a little bit, if you will, but Ryan Mouton's got so much speed that he just took it out and went all the way for the touchdown.
And the extra point is good for Morgan Beckendorf. And how about that? With 2:30 left, the Katy Tigers are back on top, 16-15 here in San Antonio.
Here's a throw again. And I tell you what, I've seen Ben Johnson make throws today, Randy, that have just been perfectly dead on the money. He did it again as he hits his slot receiver, Ryan Mouton, for the touchdown. And you don't expect Katy to load up and throw the deep ball, not the vertical passing game. It's not what they do.
That is their game.
But they've been hammering so well today on the run, and you got you a little bit gun-shy and a little bit playing on your heels. And what they do is they've seen the opportunity, good protection up front. Look at that pocket protection. And Ben Johnson has, as I said earlier, delivered just some beautiful balls today. That one, no more bigger than that one right there.
And Ryan Mouton on that same drive, as you mentioned, with the drop. So he comes back and helps his football team, because he doesn't like doing that at all, but he comes back, runs a great route, shows off that speed, and blows past that secondary of Southlake Carroll.
Well, and really, to think about it, Ryan Mouton is not a starting wide receiver on this football team.
It's only his third touchdown of the season.
Yeah, he's a defensive back by nature, and they look for him to be a shutdown corner guy, which he has done extremely well all year.
And he's a good one. He's a second-team All-Stater, but he's through on the offensive side.
Yeah, but you got an athlete like that, you got to find a way to get the ball in his hands, and you give a lot of credit to that Katy coaching staff for recognizing what they needed to get, the speed that they needed to get on the outside to put the pressure on the defense of Southlake Carroll. So far, they're doing it, and that's why they're leading 16-15 in this ballgame.
Well, striking quickly is what Southlake Carroll does the best. This is what their offense is all about, the no huddle, the four wide. They've been in this situation before. Now it's crunch time with 2:30 left in the fourth quarter. And the Dragons down one to the Katy Tigers after that touchdown from Ben Johnson to Ryan Mouton. This is how if you want to script it in a championship game, you want it to come down to the wire.
Right. Hey, you've got two heavyweights. You've got a proud, tradition-rich team in Katy. You've got a relatively new 5A team in Southlake Carroll who's on a 31-game winning streak. Hey, since 1951, this is the longest winning streak in the highest classification in the state of Texas football. Southlake Carroll has done a phenomenal job. Two heavyweights going at it right now.
Brandon Simchek with the kick. Aaron Luna fields it at the one. Big hole, but he's finally hit as he crosses the 25-yard line.
Randy, you mentioned it earlier, but Garrett Hartley, the field goal kicker, the strong-legged field goal kicker, has got a 54-yard field goal to credit.
He does. And boy, would he want another opportunity after missing that last field goal. And again, Southlake Carroll has moved the ball awfully well here in the second half against this Katy defense. Todd Dodge, Mike Johnson. This is what it's all about. 2:26 left. Southlake Carroll starts their drive on the 27-yard line. Daniel looking out to Jedway at the 38 before he's pushed out of bounds by Michael Parker. Stops the clock with 2:20 left. receivers stacked on the bottom of your screen. You've got one on the top. That is Kit Gedwed. Chase Daniel. Luna behind him. First and 10 to 39. It's Luna up the middle. He tries to go left side. Derek Frisch in there to make the stop for Katy before he picks up 6 yards.
Right now, if you're Southlake Carroll, you're thinking that you've got to get the ball at least to the 35-yard line, and that would be close to equaling Garrett Hartley's long field goal of the season. Certainly, you don't want to have him kick anything longer than that, but you got to try to get the ball down in scoring position.
Daniel over the middle, trying to find Gedwood. Ryan Mouton with the coverage. Southlake Carroll wants a flag. They're not going to get it. That's great coverage by Ryan Mouton.
Well, you can hear the crowd. You talk about Ryan Mouton meaning a lot to this Katy team. Every time he makes a play, you hear the move. Might have got there a half step early. Nice job of getting that right hand coming across and flicking the ball away.
3rd down and 4 now for the Dragons on their own 45-yard line.
And definitely you're in 2-down territory right now if you're Southlake.
Daniel out to Gedwed. Makes the catch down to the 46-yard line before Will Thompson brings it down for Katy. Clock is stopped as they move the chains. Another first down for Southlake Carroll.
Well, how about this ball game?
This is what it's all about.
Man,
this is what it's all about. Living up to the hype coming into this football game. Katy's a team nobody really gave a chance to be here. Even Mike Johnson was surprised that his team came together after that opening loss to Lufkin in week 1. Daniel, pressure, looking for Gedwed, not going to get him. Will Thompson with the coverage.
They're going to
Will Thompson with the interception. The sophomore comes through with the big play with 1:22 left.
Well, you got to credit that defensive front, Randy, for Katy. They were harassing Chase Daniel, not allowing him any clear vision. Hey, and the gamer that he is, he's trying to make something happen. He throws the ball, tries to force it into his wide receiver, and the play by Will Thompson to come through with his 4th interception of the year. And the way that he did it in a juggling fashion. And take a look at the pressure. Here's Chase Daniel looking downfield, goes to his backside, but there's big Robert Lewis causing a lot of problems for him. Derek Frisch doing the same. And how about the concentration and staying inbounds?
The footwork was incredible right there. Incredible footwork by Will Thompson.
We talk about McKay Jacobson being a sophomore. How about Will Thompson, the sophomore, stepping up?
All right, so Katy, with a minute 22, gets the football on the Dragons' 45-yard line, nursing a 1-point lead. It's Big Johnson.
Got to figure the timeouts are going to start coming from Southlake. As they Brian timeout.
Brian Thompson with the carry. Pickup of 2 yards down to the 43-yard line.
Hey,
and a timeout called by Southlake Carroll. And there's the man of the hour right there. Will Thompson getting it done with that interception. That was just incredible. Not only with the hands, if we look at it again, this footwork is, I'm amazed. This kid's a sophomore. He's battled his way to this lineup, and it's the result of something like this.
Well, even before that, though, the closing speed that he had coming down on the wide receiver, we don't see it in this replay, but he's coming full tilt, Randy. It's not like he was standing there and had a chance to kind of gauge the ball. He's coming at a breakneck pace, and he jumps in there and he gets that right hand, and with the right hand, you see as his head turns, he's kind of watching the ball the whole time. He's keeping his feet in bounds. Very athletic play right there by Will Thompson. Southlake, I believe, has, what, one more timeout?
Yeah, Katy's got 3 to burn. Mike Johnson, calm, cool, collected on that sideline, along with his staff. The bulk of his staff has been together for the better part of 17 years. You just don't see that very often in high school football. 2nd and 8 now for the 43. The pitch out is James Aston, cutting it back, breaks the tackle. Before Michael Agnew breaks him, pulls him down, and another timeout by Southlake Carroll. Big 3rd down play coming up for Katy. It'll be 3rd and 6 after this timeout for the 41-yard line. see the celebration after that Will Thompson intercepting everybody. Nearly met him in midfield.
Yeah,
I mean, this has been an incredible story for this kid who started the year on the JV, and Mike Johnston was telling me yesterday he was so impressive, they brought him up, and he was telling his defensive coordinator, Gary Joseph, he says, let's put him out there and see what he can do. Well, he goes out there, makes plays, and then they say, wait a minute, we had an injury, we'll start him, and he hasn't left the starting lineup since.
Well, that's a great way to do it. He certainly played well today in this ball game. You know, if you look at Southlake, too, they lost 14 starters off of last year's team, and they're not doing it with smoke and mirrors. They're reloading, but they're a relatively small school, if you will, right at 2,000 enrollment, and to come in and still having this unbeaten streak carrying into this ball game has been impressive.
All right, 3rd and 6 now. Big play from Katy on the 41. They need to make it down to the 35-yard line. Johnson rolling out right. Going to try to make it to the 35, but he's hauled down by Bo Galbraith at the 37-yard line.
Hauled down, and very wisely, you see the leadership right there. Ben Johnson, the senior, going down inbounds.
Keeps the clock going.
Yeah, because all his momentum and everything was going that way. Bo Galbraith had the angle where it looked like he was going to just go out of bounds, but the fact that he went down in the field of play.
All right, it's a 4th and 2 play, so what's going through the minds right now of Katy, Shea? You're inside their territory, you're at the 37-yard line. Do you just go for it? Do you try to punt and bury him inside the 10? What do you do here?
If you're me, in the way that Gary Joseph has coached this defense for Katy up, I want to punt the ball and make Southlake Carroll have a long field, because you know what? They've got a great field goal kicker in Garrett Hartley, and if they gain possession here, they have a relatively short field to work with a minute left in this ball game. I'd rather see them have to drive the whole length of the field to get into field goal position.
Well, Ben Johnson's going back out there. It looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 2 from the 37-yard line. They need to reach the 35 for that first down.
Ben Johnson has gotten Southland to jump off sides twice in this ball game with the hard count, so
I think they could try that. If it doesn't happen,
I'm still not convinced, but let's see.
3 in the backfield, 1 in motion. Stephen Greenlee back there as well. They're going to hand to James Aston, and he crosses the 35 down to the 34-yard line, and a first down for the Katy Tigers.
Yep, and that'll do it. What a gutsy play call. Mike Johnston rolling the dice here at a very critical point in the ball game. He didn't want to leave anything up to chance. He went behind his big fellas, Jordan Tapscott, Frank Sinaido. And riding the big horse that he's rode all season long, James Aston picks up that first down.
Well, Southlake Carroll has no timeouts left. James Aston, our State Farm player of the game, playoff high, 34 carries, 181 yards, following up last week's 215-yard effort. And with 30 seconds left, it's going to be a clean sweep for the greater Houston area in 5A Division I and 5A Division II, with North Shore winning last week. The Katy Tigers are 18 seconds away from winning yet another state championship for their head coach, Mike Johnston, and their first since 2000 as Mike Johnston gets carried off.
So it's been a very dominant performance, Randy, by this Katy offensive line. They came in today and they did what they had to do to win the football. Not a lot of sizzle in that offense, not a lot of flash and dash in that offense. But I tell you what, when they line up and just come at you, and with that big guys that they had up front, knock you off the ball. Tough loss for Southlake Carroll. They're first in Division 5A, but you just can't say enough about what Coach Todd Dodge and his staff have done in reloading this year and getting these guys all the way back into the state championship ball game.
Yeah, you look at Southlake Carroll, Chase Daniel, 5A Player of the Year, junior. Kenton Gedwed, his favorite receiver, junior. Aaron Luna, running back, junior.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talent in this program, and there's no question they're going to be back and ready to compete again next year for another state championship. We're going to break away, but our post-game festivities continue on Fox Sports Net with the trophy presentation. You'll hear from the head coach, Mike Johnston, player of the game, James Aston, that and more. The 5A Division II Texas Bowl on Fox Sports Net is brought to you by State Farm and your local State Farm agent. By Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen, that's what I like about Texas. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horn. Dodge. And by Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you. And by the University Interscholastic League. It's over at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, 16-15. Katy knocks off Southlake Carroll, the defending state champions. Let's go down to the field for the trophy presentation. Dave Knobler standing by. Dave.
Well, the excitement is certainly in full effect down here. UIL Executive Director Dr. Bill Farney is here to award Coach Johnson with a very deserved symbol of appreciation there. Go ahead, Coach.
Thank you, Dave. To a quality coach and a great program with a classy bunch of guys. Great Superintendent Dr. Merrill, great administration, Coach. I want to congratulate you on behalf of over 1,300 high schools in Texas and 245 in Conference 5A for winning the ultimate prize. Very deserving the state championship 2003. We're proud of you. We're proud of your team. Congratulations to you.
Thank you, Dr. Farney. On behalf of the community of Katy High and our school district, a bunch of fighting Katy Tigers and great coaching staff, supported by some tremendous wives and families. We accept it. And I've never been more proud of a state championship than this group. To come from August 30th, a good tail kicking by Lufkin, to this day, this is what makes it all worth it. Our young men, our coaches, they demonstrated faith all through the year. And just like the second half today, that ability to fight and come back and never give up. Tremendous character and great leadership from within our team, our captains, our leadership group, our seniors. So proud of all of them. Thank you. Goes to its deserving place.
You worked it with the run all day, but in the end, it was a huge pass that ended up settling the score.
Well, we made some good plays off play action. Of course, Ryan's the fastest player we've ever had, and he was having a hard time holding on to some of them. He was too anxious, but thank God he held on to that last one. Boys, a thing of beauty from the sideline. I'm so proud of our defense, especially our sophomore corner there at the end of the game to come up with a big-time turnover, the only one they had during the game. But again, it's just what happened. For a team to be tremendous, a great team, they've got to have guys to step up and perform. That 20 was not even on the varsity at the beginning of the year. He was a backup JV quarterback. We brought him up as a return man, and he's turned into a fine, fine football player for us. So again, it's players in our program answering the call.
All right, congratulations, Coach. What an effort by the Katy Tigers. Let's send it up to Randy and Shay.
Thank you all.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave Knobler. And again, congratulations to Mike Johnson. Shay, he's been around this program a long time. He always has his football teams ready to play, and he talked a little bit about it. Very few people gave this Katy football team a chance to do much of anything this season, much less win a state championship, and here they are. They knock off the defending champion, Southlake Carroll.
Well, I tell you what I like about what Coach Johnson had to say. He called him number 20. As a coach, look, I know he's only a sophomore. I know he wasn't on the varsity to start, but the guy's name is Will Thompson, and what a heck of a play did he make. And he really talked about Ryan Mouton. Double duty. Guy comes in as this lockdown corner, comes in as the guy that catches the long touchdown pass at that's really the deciding points in this ball game. And really giving credit to his defense because they played a whale of a football game today against a very high-powered, very potent offense.
All right, state championship for the Katy Tigers in 2003. Their last state championship coming, of course, in the 2000 when they beat John Tyler 35-20. Let's take a look again at that go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth quarter from Ben Johnson to Ryan Mouton.
A lot of pressure there, or no pressure there, excuse me, a lot of protection for Ben Johnson, and as he throws the ball down to the inside receiver, Ryan Mouton, and then here's really the deciding turnover, the only turnover for the game of Southlake, but Big Lewis putting some pressure on, and the linebackers putting pressure on, and now in the blink of an eye, you got Will Thompson coming down making an acrobatic circus interception and that's really what turned the momentum in this ball game and sealed the win for Katy.
Yeah, Southlake Carroll does not turn the football over very much, and as Coach mentioned, that was their only turnover of this football game, and it came at a very bad time for the Dragons as they were marching on. As you see them celebrate the state championship hardware that they will take back to Katy and celebrate another state championship. Let's go back down to the field. Dave Knobler with Ryan Mouton. Dave, take it away.
Yeah, here we are. This game's going to be remembered, obviously, for the neck and neck, but more than anything, your catch to win the game. Talk about what happened.
You know, earlier in the game, in the possession, I had dropped 2 passes or whatever, you know, and, you know, I got in the huddle. My quarterback said, you know, just run out there, whatever. I'm going to lay it out there. You know, and I did that, and my line made great blocks, whatever, and he put it out there, and I just had to run it down.
Well, you just didn't do it on offense, also on defense, especially on Southlake's last drive. He had a very key breakup to help set up for the next play. It was an interception.
You know, I've been playing defense, you know, like all my years, you know, and I knew I had to make a big play or whatever, you know, and we knew they were going to throw the ball to the single receiver over there, you know, and I just broke on the ball like I've been coached to.
All right, congratulations. What a title and what a game for you. That's Ryan Mouton. Randy Shea.
All right, thanks a lot, Dave. And again, I'm sure he'll be celebrating with his brother Keith.
Oh, yeah.
Keith gave him some tips on how to handle championship weeks. And, of course, he listened to his brother because he came through not only defensively with that big touchdown down the stretch to give the Katy Tigers the state championship. And, again, 16-15, the final over Southlake Carroll. Their winning streak, and give them a lot of credit, their winning streak ends at 31 games for Southlake Carroll. But they will be back. Plenty of underclassmen returning for Todd Dodge next year.
Well, the thing was coming into this season, Randy, people were going, okay, well, Southlake had a great run. They had Chase Watson, Trey Solari, Scott Chandler. They had all these high-name guys or guys that put up huge numbers. They reloaded every position on the skill position, took a receiver, put him in a quarterback. The expectations for Southlake Carroll in 7-5A was not to win the district. Here they go. They run the table. They go undefeated. I mean,
they're looking at playoffs already.
Yeah,
basically.
No question
no
about
slap against other teams, but they pretty much knew they were a playoff team this year.
Yeah, and that's the phenomenal thing. And you talk about it, and just you go back and we talk about the credit that you give to the staff of Katy. You also have to flip that same kind of credit to the Southlake Carroll Dragons because, you know, after having to reload and do all that and losing 14 starters off that team, to run the table and be undefeated. Now, I'm not saying, you know, winning the state championship. I'm just saying to be undefeated, that's pretty impressive. 31-game win streak.
Well, in 2 prior football games this season against teams that had a spread offense, the Katy Tigers, Shea, had struggled. That opening game with Lufkin, who was then #1, they lost 35-14. They struggled against that team. They also struggled a little bit against the other spread offense that Cinco Ranch runs. They did win that game 35-14, but Cinco Ranch put up some yards against this team. So we really didn't know what we would expect against another spread like Southlake Carroll, but the defense was up to the challenge. Credit to Gary Joseph for the game plan he had in school.
Well, the game plan that he had involved Paul Thornton and Jordan Tanner a lot in getting those guys out in space. But you have to recognize, too, that Robert Lewis and Nick Smith and Tate Stewart and those guys put so much pressure up front that they didn't allow the fact that they only had 5 or 6 men in the box. They still did not allow that Southlake Carroll offense to really get the ground game going, and that ultimately is what hurt them.
Well, the Katy fans who made the trip from West Houston going home happy, the 3-hour drive, it'll be fun. And over the holidays, they are celebrating a 5A Division II state championship. Once again, our 5A Division II Texas Bowl champion are the Tigers from Katy High School. Coming up next, we'll send you back to the studio for Championship Saturday at our Fox Sports Net studios with Rick Ritter and Dana Larson. And in less than an hour, we'll be back live here in San Antonio at the Alamo Dome for the 4A Division II Texas Bowl, featuring the Denton Ryan Raiders and the Cougars from Lamarck High School. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a safe and happy holiday season. For Shea Walker, Dave Knobler, and the crew, I'm Randy McElvoy. We'll see you later from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio.
welcome into our Fox Sports Net studios, and there you have it. The Katy Fighting Tigers are state champs. Unbelievable game right here on Fox Sports Net. Katy won it in 1997. They win it in 2000. They win it in 2003. I guess they just win it every 3 years. That's what they do, right?
That's right. It comes in threes. Welcome to High School Spotlight Championship Day. One in the books. One more to come on this exciting title doubleheader. Dana Larson, Rick Renner, along with Coach Mike Pappas, the head coach of the state championship, North Crowley High Panthers. Congratulations to you. And, of course, a couple other coaches hoping for that same distinction. That would be Todd Dodge and Mike Johnston today. An exciting game for those two as we take a look at the highlights from our earlier game between Southlake Carroll and the Katy Tigers. Well, the Tiger fans, all they wanted for Christmas, a state championship. But Carroll's offense was breathing fire early. Chase Daniel finds a streaking Kenton Gedwin down the sideline, and it is 7-0. Carroll and Dragon fans dancing in their seats at this point. Mike Johnston circling the wagons. Katy responding with the old school attack. Coach Pappas, this is exactly what they wanted. Their bread and butter here.
I think this is Katy's game, and in the first half, I hate to say this, but it was Katy's first half. They converted a lot of third downs, ball control, controlled the clock, moved the chains, low scoring, and I think that those are the elements that Katy had to do to keep themselves in the ball game in the first half.
Exactly. Ben Johnson finding Chris Pedler there for the score that tied it up, and then a critical play here. Adam Hansen comes up with the stack for Carroll with no timeouts. The Tigers rush the field goal unit on, but time runs out, and the teams head into the locker room tied at 7 apiece. So Katy at that point getting no points out of their final drive, but they had to feel pretty good not panicking from that quick strike offense early on and keeping it close.
Yeah, I think that, you know, Carroll's lived on big plays. They score a lot of points. I think the lowest number of points that they scored all year is 29 or 30. They probably didn't feel too good about that first half. They probably came out and wanted to come out in the second half and do a little better.
You talked about the time of possession control. It's amazing. Katy in this game had 21 more plays than Southlake Carroll. That played into their hands all game.
I think it did. You know, just the Katy's offensive line, I thought especially in the second quarter, they just dominated. I think they really took control of things and allowed them to eat the clock up the way they wanted to do.
Now let's go to the second half highlights, and we pick it up in the third quarter. And really anybody's game at this point. Obviously 7-7. Katy looking to take control, 4th and 1. Johnson tries the bootleg, and he is met by Ben Hickson and a host of Dragon defenders. They break out the chains, and Carroll stopped them. That would be huge. Todd Dodge and company dodged the bullet, but then they're forced to punt, and look at this. It's blocked. They get the safety, does Katy, and they take the commanding 9-7 lead. In the fourth, though, Carroll will rally behind the wheels of Daniel Chase. How about his running ability, Coach?
Well, I thought the thing to me in the second half was Southlake's ability to play Katy's game. They come out in the second half and they're running the ball. They've gotten themselves into passing formations in order to run the ball. That was critical.
Luna gets the touchdown, and here's the big one to my man Ryan Mouton, who comes alive for the 55-yard scoring strike, and Katy has the lead. They get the 2-point conversion, and they lead by 1. Chase looking, and finding super sophomore Will Thompson. The unbelievable interception. The kid wasn't even on the roster at the beginning of the year. He was the quarterback on the JV team, and he comes up huge in the biggest game of the year. Look at the footwork, getting the interception, and that would pretty much seal the deal for Katy as they go on to win this one 16-15 to make it their third state championship game since 1997. They won it in 97, 2000, 2003. A lot of stats jumping out at you. Katy was 71 total plays in this one, 385 total yards. Johnson, fabulous at quarterback, 181 passing with 2 touchdowns. Mouton comes alive for the big one. He had 3 receptions for 72 yards. And how about James Ashton? A career playoff high for him, 34 carries, 181 yards. But the big number that really jumps out at me is Aaron Luna for Southlake Carroll, who pretty much puts up 200 yards in every single game, 12 carries, 35 yards. that was a big difference in for Chase and company in that offense, not being able to get the offense going.
I thought they took Luna out of his game, but, you know, on the flip side of that, Daniels was really on. And I thought it was his game early in the fourth quarter. I thought especially that was his game. His ability to run the ball and his throwing ability, I think, was critical in Southlake putting themselves in a position to win. And even when it comes down to the interception he threw at the end, he's trying to make a play. He's doing the same things that he's done all year. He's trying to make a play. He's trying to push the ball downfield. He made a decision. He probably wishes he still had the ball in his hand. But that's what he's been doing all year. Those are the kind of plays he's been making all year. And to second-guess him, I think, you know, it doesn't serve any purpose. He was trying to do what he does best.
Let me throw something out at you. Now, this is from the broadcast set here. Why not, when Katy got the interception, just let him score? Because, you know, Chase and company, they're such an offensive team. I mean, then you're only down 8. You can possibly have a chance to win it. Who cares if they score? You give yourself a chance to win the game. No, bad move, good move?
Well, you know, it just goes against everything that you're taught as a high school coach. You don't want to give up points. You don't want to give up yardage. It goes against everything. Sure, if things work out, you know, you could look like a hero, or you could look like an even bigger goat. We say that they might be ahead by 8. They might be ahead by 9. You go for a 2-point conversion, and all of a sudden you're ahead by 9, and the game's over at that point. So it's an interesting possibility, and maybe debated for a while, but as a football coach, I just can't give in to that. I'm sorry.
Well, hats off to the Katy Tigers. Not intimidated by that 31-game win streak and not intimidated by a close game with this high-octane offense today. It was very exciting, and certainly congratulations go out to the Katy Tigers. Well, we've got another game in